Chapter 3285. In the face of death, Hierarch Wen Fu revealed everything he knew. The other party's strength was beyond his imagination. Resistance was the most meaningless thing to do. After telling Lin Fei everything he knew, Lin Fei imprisoned the other party and left. With his current strength, there really weren't many experts in the Thousand Victories Empire that could suppress him, unless it was the old ancestor of the imperial family or the old emperor. The cult leader of the Devil sect was trapped in a place called Illusion Island. This was one of the more famous places within the Thousand Victory Empire, and it was filled with all sorts of illusions that could cause people to lose themselves in them. Very few people would go to such a place. The cult leader of the evil cult took the remaining forces and hid in the Illusion Island. The general had surrounded the island with his men, and it was only a matter of time before they took down the remaining members of the devil cult. Lin Fei rushed to the Lost Island without stopping. If the general with the giant eye captured the devil cult's cult leader, it would not be a good thing. Those forces that rebelled against the victorious Thousand Empire would all become cowards. On the way to resist Thousand Victories Empire, the evil cult was the main force, carrying the banner. This was also the reason why the general with a huge eye had to exterminate the cult leader of the devil cult. Island of Illusions. It wasn't very big. The 7 colors shrouded the sky above the lost Illusion Island, making it extremely dazzling. But under this dazzling brilliance, the Island of Illusions was filled with danger. But at this moment, the illusory island was heavily guarded from both inside and outside. At the same time, an inescapable net had been laid down. Even a fly would not be able to escape the island. Sect Master Obsidian, come out now and surrender. I can leave you an intact corpse and let you die a worthy death, not letting down the name of the Sect Master. A rumbling sound reverberated through the air above the Island of Illusions. The rainbow-colored barriers were suppressed by the sound. On one of the main battleships outside the island, dressed in black armor, the large-eyed general sat with a broadsword and a golden horse, looking mighty and domineering. His bright eyes seemed to be able to see through the entire illusory island. Old thing, if you want to kill this sect leader, just rush in. There is no one in the devil cult who is cowardly. They would rather die indiscriminately than surrender, like you said. In the sky above the Illusion Island, the voice of the current sect master, the sect master of the Obsidian sect, came. The giant-eyed general seemed to have expected this. This general will fulfill your wish. He gave the order. The formation around bewildering Illusion Island began to revolve as it began to refine the island. Since you're hiding inside, I'll refine the illusory island and refine all of you devil cult remnants. In order to refine the mystic island, Divinity Giant, I had put in a lot of effort. As long as the cult leader was still alive, this matter would not be considered over. The cult leader of the Dark Light cult must die. As soon as the formation was activated, a huge black storm engulfed demonic Illusion Island. The 7-colored barrier was torn to pieces by the black storm. Sect leader, that old thing wants to refine all of us. Why don't we go out and fight them? At the center of the island, dozens of people stood guard around the island. Their complexions were not very good, and almost all of them were injured. These were the elites of the devil cult. General Giant, I joined hands with the elders of the devil cult and betrayed them at the crucial moment, causing the master of the Black Light cult to be attacked in the belly, and the huge devil cult almost fell apart. In the center of the island, a black-robed man stood on a rock, looking up at the black storm, killing the 7-colored barrier. His cloak fluttered behind him. It was the cult leader of the Black Light cult. The old thing is indeed the old thing. He's vicious indeed. In order to deal with us, he used such a killing formation. What a good move. The master of the Black Light cult was very young, and his face was cold. Sect leader, let's fight. If that old thing wants to kill us, he has to pay the price. Our devil cult members are not that easy to kill. The people behind the cult leader were all armed. As long as the order was given, they were willing to go out and fight, even if it meant dying on the battlefield. Bewildering Illusion Island was a dangerous place in the Qianqian Empire. But at this time, facing the suppression of the formation set up by General Giant Eye, it seemed very fragile. The Black Storm continued to grind the Illusory Island. At this rate, it wouldn't be long before the entire Illusory Island was torn to shreds. That should be the Illusory Island. When Lin Fei arrived, more than half of the Illusory Island had been successfully refined, and the remaining small portion would not be able to hold on for long. The situation was very bad. That devil cult leader situation is indeed not too good. In order to completely exterminate the devil cult, this general giant I had put in a lot of effort. Just the strength of the martial law outside was enough to scare off a large portion of people. Apart from that, he had also arranged a group of experts to surround the Illusory Island. If I hadn't come, that devil cult leader would definitely not have a good ending. As for breaking out of the encirclement, don't even think about it. Lin Fei could vaguely see the figures on the Illusory Island. General, the master of the Black Light cult, is very strong-willed. Even at this time, he has not chosen to rush out. Could it be that he has made some arrangements? The general's confidant said. The General Giant Eye's expression was unmoved. This time, he won't be able to escape. Who dares to touch those fence-sitters? As long as the master of the Black Light cult is dead, those guys will not be able to withstand a single blow. Once the leader is killed, the remaining wolf cubs are nothing to worry about. General is right. Everything is led by the master of the Black Light cult. Without him, those guys are nothing. This is called killing the chicken to warn the monkeys. Boom, boom, boom. Suddenly, there was a rumbling sound coming from outside. A figure appeared between heaven and earth and moved toward them at an extremely fast speed. None of the experts who were secretly on guard could stop the other party and allowed him to rush all the way until he was not far from the warship. Who's there? The general's confidant shouted as he turned around and threw a punch across the air. As the general's confidant, the confidant was very strong and was a 5-star peak ultimate god. The person who will kill you. The person laughed and also threw a punch. It was earth-shattering. All that was left in everyone's eyes was a huge fist shadow that pierced through the general's warship. There was a loud bang. The warship was torn apart, and the experts on the warship died on the spot. Except for one person who escaped, which was the General Giant Eye, the rest were all dead. Master, there seems to be some changes outside. The General Giant Eye's warship has been destroyed. The master of the Black Light cult noticed the situation on the Illusory Island without needing his subordinate's reminder. He clearly saw the shadow of that punch. Even a group of peak ultimate gods and stars could not break through the General Giant Eye's warship, yet it was pierced by a single punch. Where did such an expert come from? Who the hell are you? The General Giant Eye looked extremely embarrassed at that moment. The armor on his chest was full of cracks. It was an 8-star armor, but it could not withstand Lin Fei's punch. The person who will kill you. The newcomer threw another punch at him. I'm the general of the 1,000 Victories Empire. The fist light was like a meteor as it landed on the General Giant Eye's body. The armor could no longer withstand the attack, and the general was smashed into smithereens. Chapter 3286. Everyone on Bewildered Island was in a state of shock. Among them, the Black Glory Sect leader was the most shocked. As his old rival, the Giant Eye Divinity, others might not know how powerful he was, but he was well aware of how powerful this general was. A horrifying array had almost refined Bewildered Island. However, this old opponent who had put him in a disadvantageous position had been easily killed by the other party. The person who had come was really valiant and terrifying. With the death of the general, the array lost its support, and the Black Glory Sect leader broke it with a punch. Thank you, brother, for your help. I am grateful. The Black Glory Sect leader rushed out of Bewildered Island. When he saw this person, he realized how terrifying he was. At such a young age, The Black Glory sect leader felt that he had wasted his cultivation. Lin Fei was also sizing up this master of the Black Glory sect. Just from the surface, this person had quite the temperament of an ambitious person. It was no wonder that he could fight for so long in the Thousand Victory Empire. No need for gratitude. Lin Fei stood with his hands behind his back. I do not wish to see the Thousand Victory Empire in peace. I want them to be in chaos. A strange look flashed past the Black Glory sect leader's eyes. As long as I am alive, the Thousand Victory Empire will not be peaceful. Now that the giant divinity is gone, the demonic sect can wave our flag, and everyone will come to us. The Black Glory sect leader's face showed some confidence. That's for the best. Saving your life was not in vain. Lin Fei tore open the void and disappeared without a trace. The Black Glory sect leader thought to himself, what a strange person. Such strength, and I have never heard of him. Could he be from the divine beast continent? But no matter, this is the chance for the demonic sect. Lin Fei did not want to interact much with the Black Glory sect leader. He did not care about that little bit of strength. When the Thousand Victory Empire was in chaos and had no time to deal with the Saint Spirit Continent and the Divine Beast Continent, Lin Fei was satisfied. Although he did not interfere with the Thousand Victory Empire's affairs, Lin Fei had been paying attention to the situation. Just as the Black Glory sect leader had said, after leaving Bewildered Island, he immediately brought his elites and attacked the city controlled by the giant Eye Divinity. Without the giant Eye General overseeing the city, with the cooperation of the Black Glory Hierophant, the city was easily conquered. After opening the city, the leader of the Black Glory Hierophant launched another surprise attack before the news spread. In a short span of 10 days, he had conquered more than 10 cities, his momentum unstoppable. By the time the Thousand Victories Empire reacted, the enormous empire had already lost 1/5 of its territory. The demonic cult's reputation soared. With the devil cult taking the lead, the other hostile forces launched their attacks one after another. Under a series of effects, the huge Thousand Victories empire was in chaos. Lin Fei saw all of this. Just as Long Wuhan had said, the empire was not in the mood to fight the two states under such circumstances. The first thing they did was to recall the army that Long Wuhan was in to suppress the internal turmoil in the empire. A single spark can start a prairie fire. Under the leadership of the devil cult, Thousand Victories empire fell into chaos very quickly. In addition, the emperor's lifespan was coming to an end, so no matter who it was, no one had the mood to do so. If the prince wanted to sit on that throne, he naturally didn't want to consume too much energy. The generals had the same thought. Without the support of the army, their influence would be weakened. It was not an easy task to eliminate these rebels. No matter who it was, the army would have to pay a huge price. No one was willing to pay too much for this. The chaos in Thousand Victories empire spread endlessly, engulfing the entire empire. Lin Fei had long returned to the Sage Body Mountain. Without the suppression of the Thousand Victories empire, the mountains above the Shungling continent and the Divine Beast continent had disappeared without a trace. Lin Fei had now entered the mode of watching the show. Every day he would be the first to know what happened in Thousand Victories empire. He had to admit that the leader of the Black Glory Hierophant was quite powerful. With just a few words, he had formed an alliance and launched a fierce attack on the Thousand Victories empire. His territory was also constantly expanding, gradually forming a situation where half of the empire was under his control. Boss, that Long Wuhan is here to visit you again. Lin Wen came in to report. Let him in. Lin Fei said casually. This was not the first time he had seen Long Wuhan. Every time this guy came, it was not good news. Compared to the previous time, Long Wuhan was beaming with success this time. Your Highness Wuhan, you look good. Could it be that your emperor father has passed away? Lin Fei said with a smile. The joy on Long Wuhan's face immediately dimmed. She shook her head and said, Daoist Lin, don't laugh at me. My emperor father's birthday is approaching, but he will not die just like that. Who can guarantee that my emperor father has no hidden tricks? That's a pity, Lin Fei said. I still want to see your highness ascend to that position. At that time, the Shunling continent and the divine beast continent will not be suppressed by others. Long Wuhan rolled her eyes in her heart. This guy was not afraid of anything. Back then, the general with the huge eye was killed with a single punch. Who would dare to suppress the two continents? Be it Long Wuhan or the leader of the Black Glory Hierophant, they were all very wary of Lin Fei. With his unfathomable strength, who would dare to act recklessly? Daoist Lin, I have come this time to seek your help. Long Wuhan took a deep breath and said. Lin Fei laughed heartily. Your Highness, you are in the limelight now. Is there anything that only I can help you with? Such words are very meaningless. Do you know that? Long Wuhan stood up. Daoist Lin, you have to help me this time. Without you, I would be dead this time. I don't know what my emperor father is thinking. He actually wants all of us to enter the boundless world mountain and help him find a divine medicine that can extend his life. Whoever finds the divine medicine will become the crown prince of the Thousand Victories Empire. Lin Fei said plainly, Isn't that a good thing? Your Highness has many experts around you. Isn't finding a mere divine medicine a piece of cake? He was really not interested in such a small matter. Daoist Lin, you have to help me. That boundless world mountain is not an ordinary place. It is a special place that connects the two continents behind. Not only will our people enter, but the experts from the other two continents will also enter. Even the experts from the elemental destruction realm will enter. If a prince like me enters, I will most likely die. If it was a small matter, Long Wuhan would not have come at all. But this time he really had no other choice. Long Wuhan knew very well what kind of trash the experts around him were. Once they entered the boundless world mountain, their fates were sealed. If he could get Lin Fei to help him, Long Wuhan was confident that he could come out alive. He had seen this person's terrifying strength before. In the Thousand Victories Empire, not just anyone could kill the giant-eyed general with less than 3 punches. Boundless World Mountain. Lin Fei frowned slightly. Tell me in detail about this place. If I am satisfied, perhaps I will help you. If you dare to hide anything, you can give up. You don't have to come to the Holy Sky Mountain. Chapter 3287. Long Wuhan was full of fear for this barbarian Lin Fei. If not for the fact that her father had gone mad and forced them to die, Long Wuhan would never have come to Lin Fei. Unfortunately, there was no other way. If she didn't seek help, she would die for sure. That place was not a good place. She would die for sure. When Long Wuhan finished talking about the hopeless Realm Mountain, Lin Fei was shocked. There was actually such a place. It was so high-end. Will there be news about the universe crystal chip in such a place? Lin Fei couldn't help but look forward to it. If it were before, he might have been a little worried. But now that his body had reached a great success level, unless it was a universe-level expert, anyone who came would be nothing more than trash. Wait, you said that the Hopeless Realm Mountain is actually a multi-layered world, including the great ancient ruins. Doesn't that mean that the Hopeless Realm Mountain is equivalent to a prehistoric civilization? Long Wuhan nodded. Someone once mentioned that the place is very scary. There are all kinds of prehistoric civilizations, and there are even some powerful beast commanders. At night, the multi-layered world civilizations will appear. If you are not careful, you will fall into a situation of certain death. Because of the existence of the various civilizations, my father tried to get treasures to increase his lifespan from the hopeless Realm Mountain. Lin Fei frowned and thought to himself, if it is a multi-layered world and the existence of the prehistoric civilization, then I really need to go and see it. If I take action, what benefits can I get? Lin Fei's eyes were bright. If there are no benefits, I won't go. I don't want to die in there. I have a map of the hopeless realm mountain in my hands. I can go to a special place. According to the map, that place has the power of the prehistoric civilization, such as the existence of universe divine weapons and universe cultivation techniques. I don't want anything. I can give them all to Senior Lin. Long Wuhan took out a map. In order to win over Lin Fei, Long Wuhan took out the map to show her sincerity. Lin Fei was no longer a newbie. Universe divine weapons and universe cultivation techniques were all things that could be heard but not seen at the moment. As far as the 3 continents were concerned, there was almost no news about the universe level. It was as if the information had been purposely blocked. It was difficult to find out. There was no doubt that this was one of the Eternal Church's tricks. Lin Fei was very interested in things related to the universe level. Lin Fei did not agree immediately. He said that he would think about it for a few days and that Dragon Wuhan would temporarily stay at the Sacred Body Mountain. How much do you know about Boundless Realm Mountain? Lin Fei looked for Lin Wan and the other 2 to ask. As experts who had been taken into the tomb of the god of Yuanjiu, Lin Fei believed that they would know more about Boundless World Mountain than he did. There was no harm in listening to them. Boss, you want to go to Boundless World Mountain? That place is too dangerous, I think. It's best not to go there. That place is a living hell. When Lin Wan heard about the Boundless Realm Mountain, he shuddered. His eyes were filled with fear. Lin Fei said indifferently, "You guys just have to say it." Lin Wan and the other 2 were ultimate gods and overlords. However, their expressions changed when they saw Boundless World Mountain. There was only fear in their eyes. Hopeless World Mountain is a place in the universe. It's considered a very famous place. It's special. Even those universe-level warriors don't dare to let their guard down. There are ancient, powerful beings living there. In Boundless World Mountain, one's strength is suppressed to a certain extent. There are dangers everywhere, and some mysterious and invisible things can almost be seen. Lin Wan and the other 2 revealed a lot of information about Boundless World Mountain. In summary, it was a place where death was certain. Apart from that, it was also a place full of fortuitous encounters. All along, there had been no shortage of capable people from all over the world who risked their lives to enter. Lin Fei listened very carefully. He knew that Boundless World Mountain could be dangerous if universe-level experts accidentally died there. In the end, Lin Fei decided to go to Boundless World Mountain to explore the mysteries of that place. With the prestige support system and a strong body comparable to a universe-level body, he had double insurance and a higher chance of survival than the average person. Lin Fei learned from Lin Wan and the others that Boundless World Mountain was a special place. Many forces under the control of the Eternal Church would also enter Boundless World Mountain. Lin Fei wanted to experience such an opportunity, especially the ancient civilization. If he could get his hands on 1 or 2 universe-level weapons, that would be the best thing. The Thousand Victories Empire no longer had any intention of attacking the other continents. The demon sect had suddenly risen and occupied half of the continent. Lin Fei no longer had anything to worry about. He made some preparations, left behind a few skill scrolls, and left Holy Body Mountain with Dragon Traceless. Long Wuhan's trip this time was a private one. If word got out that he had sent a royal disciple to find a barbarian with a lowly bloodline, she would really be laughed at. Long Wuhan would not be able to keep her face. Lin Fei simply dispelled his barbarian aura and returned to being a normal human. Long Wuhan did not doubt him at all. She thought that Lin Fei's cultivation technique was powerful, and it was a good way to get rid of one of her worries. When her siblings saw him, they would not be mocked. "We're here." The imperial capital of the victorious empire was huge. Golden palaces stood in great numbers, with pavilions and terraces. It was a magnificent sight. Prince Long Wuhan brought Lin Fei back to his imperial residence. As a prince, He had long been conferred the title of king. He had his own imperial residence and did not need to go to the imperial palace. In order to receive Lin Fei, Long Wuhan spent a lot of money and arranged for him to stay in the best courtyard. At night, she prepared a banquet, but Lin Fei politely declined, so Long Wuhan could only give up. Lin Fei stayed in the imperial residence for half a month. He usually read some ancient books sent by Long Wuhan. Half a month's time also let Lin Fei know a lot about Hopeless World Mountain. During these days, Lin Fei noticed that Long Wuhan did not only invite him, but also some other experts. However, in Lin Fei's eyes, those guys were weak. Their physical bodies were a mess, but their primordial spirit power was strong, different from the ultimate gods he usually saw. Later, Lin Fei learned that these ultimate gods' cultivation methods were indeed not the same. They cultivated the magical techniques passed down from ancient times and belonged to a different type of sect. There were many experts like this. Lin Fei's horizons were broadened because of that. It was really incredible. He became very interested in Hopeless World Mountain. The word hopeless revealed a different meaning. This is the place. Why should we stay outside? Yes. Today I'm going to let that kid see what power is. This courtyard is not for him to stay in. Chapter 3288. The commotion outside the courtyard alerted Lin Fei. He released his divine senses to see what was going on outside. What's Long Wuhan doing? Is he trying to create a group of enemies for me? But his strength is too weak. Lin Fei complained and did not plan to deal with them. It was pointless to bully these little guys. Lin Fei did not idle around during his stay in the courtyard. He had a new understanding of close combat methods after reading ancient books and so on. A body that was infinitely comparable to a universe-level body was able to unleash super combat power. Lin Fei really wanted to thank Long Wuhan and the Qianqing Empire's collection for his strength to improve again in a short period of time. The power in his body could be perfectly unleashed. Get lost! The pinnacle ultimate gods outside the courtyard were all 7-star ultimate gods and were considered experts among experts. As veterans, hearing that a junior was living in the best courtyard and enjoying high standards of service was something they could not accept. They came together to teach that kid a lesson and let Her Highness Long Wuhan know that they were the strongest. The word "get lost" came outside the courtyard and slammed heavily on them like a huge warhammer. The pinnacle ultimate gods outside the courtyard did not have time to react and were all blasted away, knocking over buildings one after another. They're really weak. Lin Fei shook his head. He had integrated his physical strength into his voice and was no longer an ordinary sound wave attack. The advantage of a sound wave attack was the word fast. Coupled with the integration of strength, it was no longer simple. He buried his head and continued to read the ancient books in his hands. Long Wuhan rushed over immediately. "Brother Lin, I'm really sorry. I didn't know they would come." Long Wuhan came over with an apologetic look. "These people are too disrespectful. They don't take me seriously at all. I promise this won't happen again." Lin Fei did not look at Long Wuhan. He did not care too much whether this matter had anything to do with Long Wuhan or not. "When are we going to Boundless Boundary Mountain?" Long Wuhan's heart sank. Lin Fei's behavior made him feel uneasy. In another 5 days, the Empire will set up the teleportation array and only needs the core energy to set off. Lin Fei said nothing more. Long Wuhan gave a wry smile and left. "My good brothers and sisters, you've really gone too far." After leaving the courtyard, Long Wuhan's face darkened, and her killing intent surged. 5 days passed in the blink of an eye. During these 5 days, no one came to cause trouble for Lin Fei. After all, no one would look for trouble with Lin Fei as long as they were not fools. Everyone knew there was an expert living in the courtyard who easily defeated a 7-star peak ultimate god without even making a move. His methods were also very domineering. Long Wuhan hadn't brought many experts with him this time. In total, there were only about 100 of them. Hopeless World Mountain was famous for being dangerous, and this time it was a matter of choosing a crown prince. No matter which prince it was, they all put in a lot of thought and would not allow any mistakes to happen. This concerned their future. From Lin Fei's point of view, there were very few people who were truly strong in their eyes. They would not be able to withstand a few of his punches. When they arrived at the Empire Square, in comparison, Long Wuhen's group of experts was really incomparable to the other princes. The other princes easily had 200 to 300 experts, with each of them being very powerful. Such a gap was very obvious when compared to the Empire Square. Long Wuhen's influence was not that great. "Brother Lin, I'm sorry," Long Wuhen said in a low voice. "We might not be able to last until the end with so many people." Lin Fei said disapprovingly, "Your Highness, you don't have to worry." Lin Fei could see that the internal struggle between the princes of Qianqing Empire was very intense. This time, in order to fight for the position of crown prince, the forces behind these princes had all taken action. This could be seen from the experts they brought with them. "Little Six, why did you bring so few people? Hopeless World Mountain is full of danger. Don't throw your life away there." A hypocritical voice came from the side. Long Wuhen's eyes flashed with fear as he transmitted his voice to Lin Fei. "He's my 5th brother, Long Wuching. He cultivates an ancient technique and walks the ruthless path. He likes to plot against people the most." Lin Fei looked over and could not help but be secretly shocked. Long Wuching and Long Wuhen were somewhat similar, but they did not have a trace of emotion on them. Even if they were to smile now, there would be no meaning in their smiles. It was just like the phrase hypocritical. There were more than 300 people behind Long Wuching, all of whom were elite experts. They seemed to have cultivated a special secret technique, as more than 300 auras seemed to be connected in a line. It seemed like only one ultimate god out of more than 300 ultimate gods was left with unparalleled combat power. For the position of crown prince, danger is nothing. Long Wuhen smiled. "I don't think we need a lot of people to go to Hopeless World Mountain. It's the quality of an army. Am I right, 5th brother?" Long Wuching was still smiling hypocritically. "You're right. We'll meet at Hopeless World Mountain." When passing by Lin Fei, Long Wuching smiled and said, "Young man, Hopeless World Mountain is not a place you can go. You won't even know when you'll die. If I were you, I'd leave immediately. What's the use of treasures if you're dead? What do you think?" Lin Fei said faintly, "Thank you for reminding me, Your Highness. However, Hopeless World Mountain is too tempting. Riches come with risks. I'm not afraid of death. Since I'm afraid of death, I don't need to cultivate." "Not bad, not bad." Long Wuching did not look at Lin Fei again and left with his men. Long Wuhen said in a low voice, "Brother Lin, my brother is probably targeting you. Maybe he'll play tricks on us at Hopeless World Mountain." "It's okay." When Long Wuching arrived with his men, a few other groups of people appeared on the square. The number of people in each group was no less than the 5th prince, Long Wuching. "The one in black armor over there is my 3rd brother, Long Wutian. He's a very overbearing guy. Do you see the 2 people beside him? They're the black and white double ghosts. At the same time, they're also my 3rd brother's guardians. Their strength is unfathomable. The one on the left, wearing a white robe and a tall crown, is my 2nd brother, Long Wunyan. He cultivates exquisite dharma and can make people fall into his trap unknowingly. He's a very difficult person to deal with. Those behind him are all Buddhist supremacies. The one on the golden horse and broadsword is my eldest brother, Long Wushan. When he was born, there was the word God on his palm. Hence, my father named him Wushan. Among us brothers and sisters, my eldest brother is the strongest. His strength is equally unfathomable." Long Wuhen introduced them one by one. When he mentioned his eldest brother, Long Wushan, this prince revealed an inexplicable fear and dread. Lin Fei listened with interest. However, the first prince, Long Wushan, made Lin Fei feel threatened. Yes, it was just a threat. In the imperial capital square, this first prince was the only one who made Lin Fei feel threatened. Chapter 3289. Your Majesty has arrived. On the imperial capital square, the irrelevant people were driven away, leaving only the imperial princes in the imperial capital square. There were more than a dozen princes standing on the imperial capital square. The princes introduced by Long Wuhan belonged to the more competitive category. If there were no accidents, the crown prince would definitely be among them. Of course, that was the case. However, no one knew who would be able to retrieve the heaven and earth treasure from Hopeless Realm Mountain that could increase one's lifespan. It could be said that all the princes present actually had a chance. Lin Fei was not very interested in these princes. Only the eldest prince, Long Wushan, could give him a slight sense of threat. At present, there was really no one else. In the Thousand Victories Empire, the eldest prince was the first. During this period, there were quite a few gazes that landed on Lin Fei. He didn't need to disguise himself. He looked ordinary, but Lin Fei could sense the changes in their expressions. Clearly, Lin Fei's cultivation base had caused them to feel suspicious. Following the announcement of the arrival of His Majesty, everyone looked up. An illusory voice quietly descended on the sky above the imperial capital square. The illusory figure's face was blurry, and almost no one could see it clearly. He wore a golden robe and a crown on his head. Behind him, there were towers rising out of thin air. Birds and beasts were flying across the sky, making it seem like an otherworldly paradise. That person was the Qianqing Emperor of the Qianqing Empire. From the moment the emperor appeared, Lin Fei's expression slightly changed. The other party could also make him feel threatened, even more so than the eldest prince. If he underestimated him, he might suffer a great loss. This old emperor's aura is strong, but there is a trace of death aura flowing in his aura. The rumors outside are true. This old emperor does not have much life left and is about to die of old age. He is not a universe-level expert, but he is not far from it. He can even use part of the universe-level combat power. Top ultimate gods are vulnerable in front of this old emperor. Lin Fei finally understood the reason why the Qianqing Empire could stand tall. Unless the old emperor died of old age, no one would dare to overthrow the Qianqing Empire. The old emperor in the sky opened his eyes that seemed to be able to rule over the world. Everyone's heart sank as a heavy pressure, like a mountain, crushed down on them. Whoever retrieves the treasure from the Hopeless World Mountain will be the crown prince of the empire. Kong Huan's deep voice echoed in everyone's ears. The old emperor waved his hand, and in the world behind him, an ancient teleportation platform appeared in the square of the imperial capital. A majestic aura swept out, suppressing the crowd. This teleportation platform was enormous, almost taking up the entire imperial capital square. Judging from the aura it emitted, anyone could tell that it was an extremely high-grade teleportation platform. Otherwise, it wouldn't have fallen into the hands of the old emperor. To the teleportation platform, the princes in the imperial capital square brought their subordinates to the teleportation platform. Rise! The teleportation platform glowed brightly, and a giant white bubble enveloped everyone. After tearing open the void, there was space, and in an instant, a super long-distance teleportation was carried out. Everyone in the bubble had different expressions. The location of this Hopeless World Mountain is not simple. That old emperor used this kind of ancient teleportation platform. I'm afraid that using it once consumes a lot of energy. Without this teleportation platform, it's impossible to go to the Hopeless World Mountain. Lin Fei was shocked. The Hopeless World Mountain is indeed very special. If it wasn't for Long Wuhan inviting me, I might not be able to find the entrance to the Hopeless World Mountain even after thousands of years. The giant bubble shuttled through the dark space. There seems to be a huge mountain in front of us. Could it be the Hopeless World Mountain? Someone shouted, and everyone noticed that a huge mountain had appeared in front of them. It was really a huge mountain. At a glance, they could only see that huge mountain. They really couldn't see the end of it. The mountain pierced the sky, and the mountain peak was surrounded by clouds and mist. In front of this huge mountain, everyone seemed very small, like ants. Hopeless World Mountain, it's really the Hopeless World Mountain. A prince said excitedly, "The Hopeless World Mountain is a special place. Don't think that the Hopeless World Mountain is in front of us. In fact, it's in many different worlds. Without a location, no one can find the Hopeless World Mountain." The first Prince Longwushan said as he looked at the huge mountain. With this, everyone realized that the Hopeless World Mountain was different. There seems to be someone approaching the Hopeless World Mountain. In a direction that was close to the Hopeless World Mountain, there was also a giant bubble. Its target was the Hopeless World Mountain. Lin Fei was also shocked by this huge mountain. The Hopeless World Mountain is really big. I even saw a faintly discernible continent world in the space. If I'm not wrong, it should be the other two sealed continents. I didn't expect them to really be related. This huge mountain was beyond Lin Fei's expectations. Similarly, surrounded by multiple worlds, Lin Fei instinctively felt the danger coming from the Hopeless World Mountain. The Hopeless World Mountain is more dangerous than I thought. Not only is the Hopeless World Mountain dangerous, but the external experts are also not to be underestimated. Lin Fei squinted his eyes. Even though he had a powerful physical body that was comparable to a universe-class body, Lin Fei didn't dare to be careless. Before reaching the Hopeless World Mountain, Lin Fei realized that this place was the most dangerous place he had ever been to. The giant bubble brought everyone through the multiple worlds. The multiple worlds formed a barrier, but it didn't affect the giant bubble at all. Along the way, they finally passed through the Hopeless World Mountain. The Hopeless World Mountain was covered in darkness, as though they had entered a world of darkness. When the giant bubble brought everyone into the Hopeless World Mountain, the protective barrier outside disappeared. What followed was a terrifying chill and an overwhelming gravitational force. Bang, bang, bang. Caught off guard, everyone was knocked down by the gravitational force and fell one by one. Lin Fei's universe body was hit by the overwhelming gravitational force, causing his bones to make cracking sounds. However, that was all. The other ultimate gods were not so lucky. Under the first wave of gravitational force, they exploded one by one like a bloody mist. The remaining ultimate gods quickly took out their treasures and formed a protective barrier around their bodies to resist the gravitational force. We've just arrived at the Hopeless World Mountain, and this world has already given us a show of strength. It's really not easy. With a thought, Lin Fei tightened his body and formed a barrier to resist the invasion and suppression of the gravitational force. Below them was a black forest that exuded a decaying aura. A 6-star ultimate god had yet to land on the ground when a towering tree next to him shot out hundreds of vines without warning. The vines were like swords and pierced through the ultimate god's protective shield, turning him into a hornet's nest. The ultimate god's vital energy and blood were sucked dry by the vines, turning him into a shriveled corpse. Chapter 3290. They had just arrived at Boundless Boundary Mountain. Everyone was caught off guard by the Boundless Boundary Mountain. The trunk of the towering black tree below was covered with thick black vines. They were like sinister, venomous snakes, dangerous and terrifying. They covered the sky and covered the earth as they surged over, almost covering the entire sky. The ultimate gods from the Qianqing Empire were no match for the vines. Their strong body fortifications were easily penetrated and turned into sieves. It was a shocking sight to see. The gravity of Boundless Boundary Mountain was so strong that everyone fell into the black forest below. Let's go. The eldest prince, Longwushan, reacted the fastest and summoned a warship. The ultimate gods fled to the warship and saw the warship break through the wind and waves. It broke through the blockade of vines and successfully broke out. The princes behind followed suit and summoned their warships. They brought their experts with them and moved forward without any hesitation. In the blink of an eye, only Long Wuhin and his group were left. Compared to them, Long Wuhin's luck was not as good. She had just taken out her warship when, perhaps because it had agitated the Black Forest or for some other reason, the overwhelming vines struck the warship like sharp swords. The warship wobbled. Before Dragon Traceless could fully activate it, the warship was tightly entangled by the vines. My warship! Long Wuhin wanted to cry, but had no tears. Under the attack of the vines, only a dozen or so experts were left. Long Wuhin's vitality was greatly damaged in just one move. Your Highness, let's retreat quickly. It'll be difficult for us to get out once the vines surround us. A top ultimate god reminded. The black vines began to shrink as if they were trying to trap everyone in the Black Forest. As for the corpses that had fallen earlier, they were all sucked dry and shattered with a light touch. None of the top ultimate gods present wanted to follow in their footsteps. It was too terrifying. Break out of the encirclement. Long Wuhin was anxious and kept slashing with the divine sword in his hand. Waves of sword essence swept across the vines, and the clanking sounds were like a musical performance. The danger in front of them was beyond Long Wuhin's expectations. His sword essence could not cut through a wave of unknown vines and only left white marks. The defense of the black vines was stronger than expected. Break out of the encirclement! Break out of the encirclement! Don't linger in battle. Long Wuhin rushed toward the only exit as dense black vines kept attacking. The top-level ultimate gods around him died one by one. In the blink of an eye, only Lin Fei was left by his side. Those black vines were extremely domineering with offensive power comparable to a top-level ultimate god. In addition to that, the vines had a strong defense and could not be cut off by ordinary attacks. The vines themselves contained powerful toxins that would enter the body through the wound and cause a certain amount of damage. An ultimate god expert's speed and reaction would be affected to a certain extent. I'll bring you out. Lin Fei grabbed Long Wuhin with one hand. If he dragged on any longer, he would not be able to leave the Black Forest. Open! Lin Fei sent out a berserk punch, knocking back the black vines that were rushing at him, opening up a space for him to attack. Even with 50% of my strength, I still can't destroy the vines. How fierce! Lin Fei was secretly shocked. This boundless boundary mountain is really terrifying. There were a lot of black vines. Lin Fei grabbed Long Wuhin and punched all the way. Endless fist seals turned into monstrous waves that crashed against the vines like flowing water. The black vines were unable to attack them and bought them some time. Whoosh! 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 We're finally out. A black forest already hurt my vitality. Boundless Boundary Mountain is much more terrifying than I imagined. Long Wuhin's face was pale as he looked back at the black forest covered in black vines. He subconsciously took a deep breath. He had lost all his capital in just one encounter. Thank you for your help, Brother Lin. Without you, I would have been dead this time. I underestimated how terrifying Boundless Boundary Mountain is. This place is really dangerous. No, it's 10 out of 10. Long Wuhin took out some elixir pills to heal his injuries. Lin Fei agreed and nodded. Boundless Boundary Mountain is really scary. A whole black forest is occupied by vines. Both their attack and defense are so domineering. I'm afraid other places are similar. We need to be careful along the way. He had thought that with a universe-level body, he could go anywhere in the world. After arriving at Boundless Boundary Mountain, Lin Fei realized that his thinking was ridiculously wrong. If he dared to swagger around Boundless Boundary Mountain, he would definitely be the one to die. I'll have to trouble Brother Lin for the rest of the journey. Long Wuhin put down his pride. He knew that without Lin Fei, he would definitely die in the man-eating, boundless Boundary Mountain. If there's anything you need me to do, Brother Lin, feel free to tell me. Let's leave this place first. Boundless Boundary Mountain was shrouded in a black veil. Lin Fei did not dare to fly with Long Wuhin at high altitudes. That would be too eye-catching. If there were any powerful creatures below, they would definitely become targets. His words were quickly verified. A warship flew across the sky and was slapped down by an unknown giant hand. Even the warship's defense could not withstand the power of the other party's palm. It was clear that the sky was not safe. This place is really terrible. Long Wuhin's sword slashed away a small thing that had attacked from the dark. His face was exceptionally solemn. Ever since he had left the Black Forest, all kinds of creatures had appeared. None of them were easy to deal with. His heart was constantly on edge. Come down, it's safe here. Lin Fei came out of the cave and beckoned to Long Wuhin. After entering the cave, Long Wuhin took out array flags and placed them around the cave. The array's power enveloped the cave, and the entire cave seemed to disappear into thin air. It also isolated the two's auras from leaking out. If I knew that boundless Boundary Mountain was so dangerous, I would rather not be the crown prince. Long Wuhin looked at the dense attacks on his armor and laughed bitterly. Lin Fei laughed. It's really not easy to be the crown prince. Boundless Boundary Mountain is filled with danger. If I'm not careful, I'll fall into a trap. It's dangerous, but danger also means high rewards. There are definitely many good things in Boundless Boundary Mountain. It would be a pity if I don't take a few back. Boundless Boundary Mountain was dangerous, but Lin Fei believed in his own strength. As long as he was careful, there shouldn't be much of a problem. Brother Lin, these are the places that Father Emperor has collected where treasures will appear. Take a look. Long Wuhin took out a document. Since the situation was like this, he naturally had to cling to this thigh. Lin Fei did not stand on ceremony. He took the document and flipped through it. That father of yours is really resourceful. He actually collected 6 places where treasures will appear. He's not simple. Lin Fei said, this document recorded the locations where treasures related to increasing lifespan would appear. This is a map. It's not very complete. Long Wuhin took out another map. Every prince had a copy of such a map. Lin Fei compared the location on the map and barely determined the location. There was a certain deviation, but the situation was not very serious. The place where we appeared before should be the Black Vine King's territory. No wonder its attacks were so sharp and domineering. Lin Fei pointed at one of the places and suddenly realized, this is the only place we can go now. Lin Fei stared at one of the locations. Chapter 3291, Boundless World Mountain. Everything he saw was black and shimmering with a strange luster. There were black boulders, black fog, and black creatures. It was as if Boundless World Mountain was made of black. The 10th King Palace is not far ahead. In the forest, 2 figures were galloping over. There was a trace of fatigue on their faces. These 2 were none other than Lin Fei and Long Wuhin. According to the information, Lin Fei and Long Wuhin had found their way here. However, they had underestimated how terrifying Boundless World Mountain was. In just half a month, they had been ambushed countless times. There were some special creatures that they could not name, but they were very powerful. They had completely overturned their expectations of Boundless World Mountain. Luckily, that thing didn't follow us. What the hell? Long Wuhin looked back and said with lingering fear, Boundless World Mountain actually has that thing. We're really lucky. Over the past few days, Lin Fei and Long Wuhin had been chased by a group of black creatures. Their defenses were very strong, and they could only be beaten back. It was very difficult to kill them. Even if Lin Fei used 70% of his strength, he could only make their bodies cave in. he would not be able to take another step forward. These special black creatures were said to be from the ancient civilization. Lin Fei completely believed that there was an ancient civilization in Boundless World Mountain. Ding! Just as they were about to leave the forest, Lin Fei felt a sense of foreboding. He frowned and stopped without any hesitation. Soon after, an imperceptible sound rang out in his ears. A long black line shot out from the ground in front of them. The void was instantly split in half, and even space itself was affected. The moment the black line shot out, Dragon Traceless was slapped back by Lin Fei's palm. The black line passed right in front of Lin Fei. Its sharp aura swept across Lin Fei's body, leaving behind white spots. It was as if he had been pricked by needles. "Be careful, there's an ambush." Lin Fei punched the black line and quickly retreated. The black line was very sharp and could leave white marks on his body. "Your luck is not bad. You were able to avoid the black demon's ambush. You are not simple." The black thread began to expand and thicken, turning into a black-robed man. His entire body emanated a sharp aura, cutting through the surrounding void and trees. "Black demon, you said that you would kill them. Look at what happened in the end. You boasted too much." Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Light laughter could be heard from afar. At the same time, a large swath of leaves flew over, enveloping the sky above Lin Fei and Long Wuhan. "Brother Lin, they are from the myriad gods continent. Their cultivation methods are different from ours. They have inherited the ancient civilization and have divine Tao techniques. We have to guard against them." Long Wuhan's pupils constricted as he recognized their origins. The leaves were not real leaves, but contained divine Tao techniques. There was a black-robed woman sitting cross-legged on each leaf. They exuded a ferocious aura as they opened their mouths to spit out raging flames. A flame giant walked out from the leaves and slammed its palm across the sky. Flames surged and burned the forest. Another flame giant stepped forward and slashed the flaming saber in its hand. In an instant, dozens of flame giants attacked with different techniques. There were fist techniques, sword techniques, saber techniques, and everything else. Lin Fei had heard of the myriad gods continent before. It was the name of the fourth continent. The people there cultivated divine Tao techniques, and their combat power was not weaker than a peak ultimate god's. In fact, they might even be slightly stronger. Their techniques were also incredible. Lin Fei did not expect to encounter experts from the myriad gods continent so soon. The other party's techniques were indeed powerful. If it was not for his physical body that was comparable to a cosmic level and had a keen sense for danger, he would have suffered a great loss. Both of their techniques have the combat power of a peak ultimate god. Their techniques are more subtle. Their techniques are easier to use against others, but their power is only SOSO against me. 10 Seat Kings, we have taken a liking to you. Therefore you can only die. You overestimate yourselves. The black demon formed by the long black thread laughed sinisterly. His body once again turned into a long black thread. However, unlike the previous time, he split into countless black dots and shot toward the two of them. Ding! 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 Lin Fei was attacked hundreds of times in an instant. What a strong physical body. I might be able to sell you for a good price when I capture you. The black demon's eyes lit up as he chuckled. Very few people could withstand his attacks, especially when they were barehanded. For example, Long Wuhan's protective shield shattered almost immediately. That was the difference between them. Long Wuhan's strength isn't bad, but he was easily suppressed by the experts from the myriad gods continent. He's indeed not simple. To me, the more experts, the better. Lin Fei's thoughts turned quickly. No one was more excited than him. Ding! Dang! The black demon controlled the black dots and attacked Lin Fei's body like raindrops. He did not miss a single spot, as though he was trying to find Lin Fei's flaws. Unfortunately, Lin Fei's physical body was flawless. He could only suppress it with force. There was no other way. The black dots attacked Lin Fei's body, and a burst of energy exploded, attempting to enter Lin Fei's body. However, it was repelled by his skin. You want to capture me? That depends on whether you have the ability to do so. Lin Fei snorted softly, and the surrounding 500 square kilometer space collapsed without any warning. A small black hole appeared. As soon as the space collapsed, the black demon's attack was immediately affected. An earth-shattering force came crashing down. The black demon shrieked in pain as he condensed into a figure in the distance. He opened his mouth and spat out blood. Those black dots collapsed and disappeared one by one. How was it? That move of mine wasn't bad, right? Lin Fei quickly stepped forward and punched out, breaking through the speed of light. Black Demon had rich battle experience, but he was still a beat too slow. A massive fist appeared before him, and a whirlpool-like force came crashing over, shattering Black Demon into nothingness. You actually killed Black Demon. The black-clothed woman's expression suddenly changed. She had underestimated the kid's power. With one punch, Black Demon was killed. Didn't that mean that his cultivation realm was above hers? If I were you, I'd just stand there quietly. No one can compete with me in speed, unless you want to try. Lin Fei looked at the black-robed woman, but did not attack. Then I don't mind killing you with one punch. The two experts from the myriad god continent had strange means. However, in Lin Fei's eyes, no matter how strange the means were, he could kill them with one punch. If that didn't work, he would use 7 or 8 punches to kill them. Typically, such situations were rare. The black-clothed woman's face under the cloak could not be seen clearly, but it was clearly filled with fear. She had seen the speed and power of the punch. Chapter 3292. Expert, I'm quite interested in beating them to death. Lin Fei smiled at the black-dressed woman. The black-dressed woman's hair stood on end when Lin Fei looked at her. She felt an unprecedented fear, as though he could really beat them to death. Keep bragging. If you have what it takes, follow me in. The black-dressed woman floated forward, her hands clutching treasures. As long as the other party dared to charge at her, she would fight to the death. As you wish. Lin Fei's smile was still the same. The black-dressed woman heaved a sigh of relief. As long as she did not make a move now, she would definitely make him regret it once they were inside. Long Wuhan flew over, still feeling a lingering fear. I never expected them to beat us to the 10 Seats Palace. Are we really going in? Why don't we go in? Lin Fei said with a smile. Boundless World Mountain is not simple, and the 10 Seats Palace is not a place to be barged in. With me by your side, you can rest assured. You won't die. Long Wuhan gave a dry laugh. He was not weak in the 1,000 Victories Empire, but in the Boundless World Mountain, just the people from the myriad god continent made him feel immense pressure. He really had to count on Lin Fei for this journey. Be careful later. That black-dressed woman is not a good person. It's hard to say if there's a killer move inside, warned Lin Fei. Boom! 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 Lin Fei was straightforward. Along the way, the winds from his fists forced them out, regardless of whether there was a killer move or not. That fellow sure is violent. The killer move set up by the sex experts was actually dispelled. I wanted to let him have a taste of my killer move. The black-dressed woman watched as she retreated. He was completely different from what she had imagined. The fellow was more terrifying than she had imagined. His body, which was not considered strong, contained terrifying power. This kid is definitely a godly supremacy expert. His body is unbelievably strong. The black-dressed woman realized that her killer move could not threaten the other party. She had to be clear of the experts inside to prevent him from barging in. If such a person were to barge into the 10 Seats Palace, it would not bode well for them. The people from the myriad god continent sure are sinister. They set up killer moves everywhere. If I'm not careful, I'll fall for them. Long Wuhan looked around warily as he cursed the black-dressed woman. We're here. After passing through the forest, a group of palaces appeared before Lin Fei. At a glance, there were at least 1,000 palaces, all of which were well preserved. A majestic aura assaulted his senses. This is a place that our Tian Shao God clan has set our eyes on account of your endless cultivation. Leave this place immediately, and you will be able to preserve your lives. More than a dozen experts with dazzling divine light rushed out of the palace and stood in front of Lin Fei and Long Wuhan. The woman in black was also there. Lin Fei had an understanding of the myriad gods continent. The people there cultivated the god Tao and formed a different cultivation system. Other than that, they called themselves the celestial race. In the 10,000 gods continent, the celestial race was everywhere. At the same time, the godly venerable experts they worshipped could summon power. It was incredible. Lin Fei glanced at them. Their physical bodies weren't very strong, and he could kill them with a single punch. I'll give you 3 breaths of time to scram. Lin Fei stretched out a finger, followed by a second. Everyone, let's attack together. The woman in black had mentioned this person's strength, but the dozen experts present did not take it seriously. How could a martial path, divine, venerable, be so young? All right, more than a dozen experts attacked directly. Even a martial path, divine, venerable, would be beaten to death by them. As soon as they attacked, giants more than 100 feet tall appeared above their heads. Each giant was different and held various weapons in their hands. They gave off a very ferocious aura. Brother Lin, this is the combat primordial spirit unique to the 10,000 gods continent. It's also their strongest force. It's visualized through various cultivation techniques. You have to be careful. Long Wuhan took out his battle armor and did not dare to let his guard down. As soon as he finished speaking, the ground beneath Lin Fei and Long Wuhan cracked open. Flood dragons soared into the sky. There were more than a dozen of them, and they charged toward them. Lin Fei was quite surprised. He had not even sensed the flood dragons underground. Each flood dragon was at least a 5-star, peak level, godly venerable. If he suddenly attacked, not many people would be able to block him. Lin Fei once again witnessed the means of the 10,000 gods continent's experts. It was indeed very incredible. At the same time, their combat strength was even stronger. If they were not careful, they would be at a great disadvantage. If you want to die, I'll grant you your wish. Lin Fei could not be bothered to waste his breath. The void around him collapsed instantly, and he shot out with one step. He appeared in front of the experts, attacking the flood dragons, and slammed his palm down with the weight of Mount Tai. The expert was smashed into the ground, leaving only his head above the ground. Again, Lin Fei pounced at another expert and raised his hand to throw a punch. A huge fist mark brought about a hurricane and slashed forward like a blade. The dozen experts were very strong. They managed to block the hurricane attack, but wounds were left on their bodies. As the fist mark came, the area in front of them was shattered on the spot. The dozen experts were instantly minced into nothingness. Clanging sounds rang out as a large pile of things fell. It was best to describe it as a mountain. You killed them. The black-clothed woman was the only survivor. Her body trembled incessantly, and she could not stand straight. Death cannot wipe out your crimes for not listening to me. Lin Fei came to the black-clothed woman's side. You should be familiar with this place. If you don't want to die, you know what to do. I know. The black-clothed woman did not have the courage to make a move and said pitifully. Long Wuhan was rummaging through the items and exclaimed, I'm rich. There's so many good things. I've long heard that the people of the 10,000 gods continent are filthy rich. It seems it's true. TSK, these weapons and these treasures, She was as happy as a child. Lin Fei was rather interested in the 10,000 gods, continents, cultivation techniques, and divine means. Keep them all first. Don't waste time. Long Wuhan took out a spatial treasure and kept all the spoils of war, leaving nothing behind. There were more than 1,000 palaces in the 10 Kings' Palace. When one walked in, they would discover that many of the palaces had been reduced to ruins. The black-clothed woman led the way obediently and did not dare have any other thoughts. According to what she said, the Heaven Roar clan's goal was to obtain a worldly treasure in the 10 Kings' Palace. It was said that it grew from a corpse and absorbed the nourishment of the world. It was an extremely mystical existence. Long Wuhan was very excited. This was going much smoother than she had imagined. She even wanted to snatch it. Lin Fei really wanted to see a worldly treasure that could be produced from a corpse. As for the origins of the 10-Seat King, the Sky Roar Celestial clan wasn't very sure. They only knew that the 10-Seat King was once very influential. Lian Shui, who are they? More than 10 people stood in front of a palace. Chapter 30, 293. It turned out that the black-robed woman's name was Lian Shui, a very interesting name. Lian Shui brought Lin Fei and Long Wuhan to a tall palace. This palace was more majestic and dignified than the previous one. At this moment, the palace was being attacked by more than a dozen people in turns. Mountains of knives, seas of fire, and other restrictions were constantly appearing. The only way to the palace had turned into a dragon's lair and tiger's den. A stern shout came from a gray-robed old man. His gaze was cold as he looked over. The remaining dozen or so people turned around, drew their weapons, and prepared for battle. Lian Shui was so frightened that she couldn't even speak properly. I am the 6th prince of the 1,000 Victories Empire, Long Wuhan. Your people tried to stop me from entering, so I killed them all. I can only say that they are too weak. Long Wuhan stood up and said disdainfully, his chest puffed out. Lin Fei was happy to let Long Wuhan deal with this. After his physical body reached the universe grade, Lin Fei preferred to speak with violence. Unfortunately, no one was his match for the time being. 1,000 Victories Empire, 6th Prince. How dare you kill people from our Sky Roar Celestial clan? The expressions of the dozen people changed as their gazes turned cold. The gray-robed elder's eyes flickered. Your Highness, not just anyone can kill people from our Sky Roar Celestial clan. Aren't you not giving me face? With Lin Fei by his side, Long Wuhan had nothing to worry about. He snorted. The 10-Seat King Palace isn't yours. It belongs to everyone. Your people can only blame their bad luck for wanting to stop us. If you can't take this lying down, feel free to make a move. When the time comes, we won't have to look for treasures. The gray-robed elder's gaze shifted back and forth between Long Wuhan and Lin Fei. He said expressionlessly, Your Highness is right. Everyone's goal is the same. Before we find the treasure, we can only fight it out. In the end, we can only give it to others. The gray-robed elder did not dare to let his guard down at Boundless World Mountain. There were dangers along the way, and killing intent lurked everywhere. The Prince of the 1,000 Victories Empire was definitely powerful. Who could guarantee that there were no enemies hidden in the dark? The gray-robed old man could only swallow his anger. Once he figured out the situation, he would definitely kill these 2 brats from the 1,000 Victories Empire. When they arrived, Lin Fei put the ripple water back. As for whether or not the secret would be leaked, he wasn't worried at all. Lian Shui returned to the gray-robed elder's side and immediately secretly explained the situation. The main points were all about Lin Fei. For example, he killed Hamo with 1 punch. His physical body was unbelievably strong, and he was a god of the martial path. The gray-robed old man's expression changed several times as he spoke. Martial path divinity, if it's true, then this guy won't be easy to deal with. The gray-robed elder was secretly shocked. In the myriad gods' continent, divinities of the martial path were very rare, and every single one of them was extremely powerful. Even they were not a match for them. What the hell is this? We actually encountered a guy who is suspected to be a martial Tao divinity. The gray-robed old man did not dare to act rashly. We can only take it one step at a time. Although there were more than 10 of them, if the opponent was really a martial Tao divinity, not many of them would be able to survive. The gray-robed elder did not dare take this risk. Hierarch Skyhowl could not afford such a loss. There seems to be a small restriction sealing off the outside of this palace. It's not weak, so it's no wonder they could stop us. It seems like the 10 Seats Palace is more mysterious than I imagined. I wonder how much information they have. Lin Fei observed for a moment and discovered something. Entering the 10 Seats Palace was not as easy as he had imagined. The gray-robed elder continued to lead people to break the small restriction. Among the dozen or so people, there seemed to be an array formation master who was guiding them in breaking the restriction. You guys are too slow. Lin Fei could not wait that long. By the time we break it, the others will probably be here. The array formation master looked displeased. If the small restriction is so easy to break, then it wouldn't be a small restriction. Ignorant country bumpkin, Long Wuhan shouted. Who's a country bumpkin? Lin Fei winked at Long Wuhan. Your Highness, the small restriction is too easy. Watch me break it and let the people outside know how powerful our 1,000 Victories Empire is. Breaking the restriction was a piece of cake for Lin Fei. With a stomp, a loud, rumbling sound could be heard. The huge palace seemed to be on the verge of shaking. Palm winds landed on the small restrictive spell. In the instant that the spell shook, the palm winds successfully entered the spell core. The mountain of blades and the sea of flames disappeared, revealing the palace doors. Your Highness, let's go in, Lin Fei said. Long Wuhan said proudly, see that? If you break the restriction like this, when will you succeed? The gray-robed elder's gaze turned solemn. Breaking the small restriction did not seem difficult, but it required time. Very few people had the precision and speed of the other party, who seemed to have grasped the location of the small restriction's array core. It was easy to say, but not everyone could do it. This Prince Long Wuhan's subordinates are not simple. Lin Fei broke the small restriction first, and Long Wuhan followed closely behind. The gray-robed elder frowned again and immediately followed with his men. Huan pushed open the palace door, and only a clicking sound could be heard, as if a roulette was spinning. Lin Fei was the first to step into the palace. The surrounding scenery suddenly changed, and he actually arrived at a place with flowers and birds like a mystic realm. This is an essence, soul, mystic realm. The gray-robed elder, who entered later, said, after an expert dies, his essence soul will transform, and the mystic realm will contain all kinds of divine powers, such as that flower. The gray-robed elder flicked his finger at the flower. The blooming flower shook its body, and a divine power with a vigorous aura shot out, shattering the finger winds that the gray-robed elder had flicked out. The flower swayed with the wind, as if it had never changed. But the scene just now had happened in front of everyone's eyes. Lin Fei was very interested. This method was really interesting. It was really incredible that a mystic realm could be transformed after death. A hint of smugness flashed across the gray-robed elder's face. How could they have seen a mystic realm after death? Elder, there's a huge lake over there. That island seems to be that corpse. Someone transmitted a voice transmission from afar. It turned out that while the gray-robed elder was speaking, the rest of the people had begun searching around and had found something. The gray-robed elder quickly ran, not daring to fly in the sky. Lin Fei and Long Wuhan did not fly in the sky. It looked like a clear sky, but in fact, they were chanting divine powers and killing moves. Not long after, a huge lake that shone brightly appeared in their field of vision. In the middle of the lake, there was an island that was as long and narrow as a valley. In the middle of the island, there was a bald medicinal herb that was crystal clear, a rare treasure of heaven and earth. The gray-robed elder stared at the rare treasure of heaven and earth in the middle of the island and could not help but blurt out, "Elder, let's go get it." 3 figures soared through the sky toward the island. Chapter 3294. The sparkling surface of the lake hid a terrifying, murderous aura. The 3 experts from the Tian Shao divine clan were instantly killed by the creatures in the lake as soon as they made their move. Not even their bones were left. It all happened in the blink of an eye. Those were 3 peak-level ultimate gods. The gray-robed old man's face darkened. "Don't go. There are fierce beasts in the lake." Lin Fei and Long Wuhan came to the lake. At first glance, there was absolutely no sense of danger. It was more like a beautiful place with birds chirping and flowers blooming. However, that was not the case. The lake in front of them was full of danger. That should be the 10,000 years divine crystal that Father mentioned. It contains a large amount of life energy and has become a special existence. Long Wuhan's breathing quickened as he stared at the 10,000 years divine crystal. The attack just now should be a divine power attack transformed from the Yuan Shin secret realm that Guy mentioned. Lin Fei narrowed his eyes. "I also feel a rich and boundless life aura from it." Life energy was also helpful to Lin Fei. Even if he did not need it, his subordinates needed it. Long Wuhan was at a loss as he did not sense anything. "Sorry to trouble you, Brother Lin." Long Wuhan transmitted his voice. Those people just now were on par with him, but they could not withstand a wave of attacks in the sky above the lake. He knew he could not withstand it either. He could only helplessly ask for help from Lin Fei. Only Lin Fei could help him get the items on the island. "I'll hold them back." Before Lin Fei could make a move, the gray-robed old man made a move first. He did not attack Long Wuhan or Lin Fei, but instead took out a treasure and went straight to the island to collect the 10,000 years divine crystal. The gray-robed old man personally took action. He flew above the lake and took out his Yuan Shin. It was a huge flood dragon that was 100 feet long. The creatures in the lake attacked again. The sky full of water arrows fell on the flood dragon's body. The gray-robed old man's body was very strong and withstood most of the attacks. This Yuanshin defense is very strong. Lin Fei was secretly shocked. Although he had not reached the universe level, he was very close. At the very least, ordinary top ultimate gods would not be able to break through the gray-robed old man's defense. The flood dragon's huge body rolled up and down, crushing most of the water arrows that were shot at it. The remaining ones that landed on its body were also repelled and shattered. When the people from the Tian Shao divine clan saw the gray-robed elder charging all the way through, they could not help but reveal looks of joy. That was a rare treasure of heaven and earth. Seeing this, Long Wuhan began to panic. Lin Fei was very calm. Since this was a secret realm formed by his essence soul, it would not be easy to obtain the 10,000-year divine crystal on the island. Lin Fei couldn't wait for someone to test the waters first. As long as one wanted it, no one could snatch it away. The fact that Lin Fei didn't move gave the gray-robed elder quite a bit of pressure. That guy actually did make a move. Could it be that he wants to make a move at the critical moment? How sinister. Left with no other choice, the gray-robed elder had to split his attention and be on guard. The water arrows in the lake did not pose much of a threat. The gray-robed elder quickly approached the island, as long as he snatched the item. So what if that person was a martial Tao ultimate god? He was confident in that. When the gray-robed elder reached out his claws to grab the rare treasure of heaven and earth, a saber beam slashed out from the barren island without warning and severed one of the gray-robed elder's claws. A second saber beam followed closely, followed by a third and a fourth. The gray-robed elder's expression changed drastically. Ignoring his injuries, the scales on the flood dragon emerged one by one and covered his entire body tightly. The saber beam that shot out from the island was very domineering and directly crushed over with force. The gray-robed elder's essence soul was a flood dragon, but it could not withstand the saber beam's attack. The first slash severed the claws, the second slash sent the flood dragon flying, and the third slash slashed the flood dragon's huge body to the end, activating various divine powers. Long Wuhin was sweating profusely. If it was him, he would have died many times over. This Yuan Shin's secret realm was too domineering. The gray-robed elder quickly returned to the lakeside. His face was swollen and his body was riddled with injuries. He looked at the island again with fear. He had almost been killed. Terrifying. It was truly terrifying. I've embarrassed myself in front of the two of you, the gray-robed elder said. This Yuan Shin secret realm is much more terrifying than I imagined. The two of you must be careful if you want that item. The gray-robed elder did not dare to test it anymore. The saber beam that was shot out seemed to have no end. It came wave after wave. If not for the flood dragon's specialization in defense, it would not have been so easy to deflect the saber beam's power. The gray-robed elder was confident that the two of them would not be able to take away the treasure. As long as they could not take away the treasure, he could take his time. Such a rare treasure could be exchanged for many good things. It's fine, it's just a small island. Lin Fei laughed. He moved his body and turned into 100 feet tall. He was like a fiend god. His hands expanded and a strong wind blew as he grabbed at the island in the middle of the lake. Regardless of what was down there, Lin Fei did not have the mood to test it slowly. He directly used force to suppress it. He did not want the fella inside to have the strength of a universe realm. Lin Fei's body shook and his huge body appeared. Violent air currents formed around him. The experts that the gray-robed elder brought were swept away by the strong wind. A martial path god realm body. What the hell? What kind of body is this? The strong wind howled. The gray-robed elder's body was surrounded by flood dragons. He stared at the strong wind and could not help but reveal a trace of shock and fear on his face. Luckily, I did not attack just now. This fella is really scary. When the island faced Lin Fei's attack, it also sent out rays of saber light. It seemed to cover the sky and earth, not giving anyone a chance to relax. It was as if it wanted to completely destroy the person who came. When the saber light slashed at Lin Fei's arm, the surrounding void collapsed. The saber light was crushed by a part of the force, and the remaining part landed on Lin Fei's arm. Ding ding dang dang sounds could be heard. Lin Fei grabbed the island with one hand and shouted, "Rise!" For the first time, his physical strength surged into his arm and the surrounding void collapsed. The lonely island was grabbed by Lin Fei. The lake water surged, and a giant formed by the lake water walked out and punched. Lin Fei also punched out, colliding heavily with the water giant's fist. At the moment of contact, water gushed up, trying to trap Lin Fei. But with a shake of his strength, the water was evaporated. The opponent's water was easily neutralized by Lin Fei's hand. But to the water giant, Lin Fei's punch was condensed into a single point. When the punch landed on the water giant's body, the water giant exploded. "Rise again!" There seemed to be something sucking on the island. Lin Fei's aura continued to rise. Pung pung pung! As his aura rose, his blood essence flowed faster, and his Yuan Shin secret realms started to change. The flowers and grass around the lake exploded and spread out. Dong dong dong! Following the sound of a drum, the gray-robed elder who stood closest to the island groaned and vomited blood. "Get out! The Yuan Shin secret realms are about to collapse." Chapter 3295. No way! My Yuan Shin secret realms are collapsing. The plants around the lake couldn't withstand Lin Fei's physical strength and started to collapse. After all, these plants were formed from skills. How could they withstand the pressure of a cosmic-level body? By the time Lin Fei reacted, the Yuan Shen secret realms had already started to collapse. I've only released 70 to 80% of my strength. Lin Fei didn't know whether to laugh or cry. This was different from what he had imagined. The secret realms were too fragile. As the Yuan Shen secret realms collapsed, the island started to change. The lake water disappeared, the plants disappeared, and a huge corpse appeared in the middle of the secret realm. It was a huge corpse. The 10,000-year divine crystal grew on the corpse's back. No wonder I couldn't catch it. It's a corpse. Lin Fei thought to himself. Now that the corpse is collapsing, let's see how long you can last. The corpse's owner had been dead for a long time. Those attacks that could threaten even peak godly venerables were nothing in front of Lin Fei. His body couldn't even penetrate it, let alone pose a threat to him. Lin Fei attacked again. 70 to 80% of his strength surged as he punched the corpse. A defensive skill appeared on the corpse, but it was crushed into pieces by Lin Fei's punches. In an instant, cracks appeared all over the corpse. The second punch landed on the corpse. The cracks widened, forming a hole. The third punch. The corpse cracked like gravel. Lin Fei reached out to grab it. The resistance wasn't strong, and the 10,000-year divine crystal fell into his hands. Other than this thing, there's nothing else. Lin Fei frowned. Since it was formed from a Yuan Shen, it couldn't be that shabby, right? No matter how hard Lin Fei searched, he couldn't find anything good. The collapsing energy crashed into Lin Fei's body, causing him to feel a dull pain that he didn't dare to ignore. The collapsing energy wasn't something that could be easily resisted. Outside the palace, the gray-robed old man and the others were still in shock. That subordinate of His Highness Long was so strong that he could collapse the Yuan Shen secret realms with just his body alone. That was a little too strong. The gray-robed elder was certain that the other party was a martial path divinity. The strongest aspect of any divine venerable was their physical body. The other party didn't even use any martial arts techniques. Just his physical body alone was enough to cause such a commotion. It was hard to imagine how terrifying it would be if he used all his martial arts techniques. Seeing Long Wuhan again, the look in the gray-robed elder's eyes changed. With how dangerous the Boundless World Mountain was, it was no wonder that the other party only brought one subordinate with him. With such strength, just one was enough. Your Highness Long, your subordinate is so powerful. Long Wuhan was also shocked. Although she knew that Lin Fei was strong, she didn't think he was that strong. It's average. Elder, the palace is about to collapse. The palaces in the distance began to collapse. Go outside. The collapse of the palace would cause a chain reaction. No matter how courageous they were, they wouldn't dare to stay any longer. By the time they left the palace and came outside, the originally majestic and magnificent palace had collapsed one after another, turning into ruins. Dust flew everywhere. Following a loud explosion, the largest palace also collapsed, and the power of the collapse swept through the surrounding area, cleaning up everything within a radius of 500,000 kilometers. At this moment, countless living beings in the Boundless World Mountain were reduced to ashes. Cough, cough, cough. The gray-robed elder removed his defensive treasure. The impact of the collapse just now was really tiring. If possible, he didn't want to experience it again. A Yuan Shen secret realm collapsed, turning everything within 1,000,000 li into ruins. Lin Shui sucked in a breath of cold air, not daring to imagine how terrifying it was. Long Wuhan also swallowed his saliva. The commotion was too huge. At the same time, he was grateful to the gray-robed elder. Otherwise, if he had helped him, he wouldn't have had a good ending against that wave of energy. He's out. The moment Lin Fei appeared, the gray-robed elder's people noticed him. Here, Lin Fei wasn't interested in this item. After seeing Long Wuhan, he threw the item to him and asked him to be the crown prince. At the very least, Long Wuhan knew his strength and wouldn't act recklessly. Many thanks. Long Wuhan's eyes lit up, and he carefully kept the 10,000-year-old god crystal. Although it was just one of the many, it was better than nothing. He was especially grateful to Lin Fei. Fellow Taoist, the next time you enter the secret realm, it's best not to use all your strength. The secret realm might not be able to withstand the power and collapse. The collapse of a Yuanshan secret realm is a huge loss, the gray-robed elder said with a look of pity. The outside was in ruins, but Long Wuhan was safe. Lin Fei knew that the gray-robed elder had protected him. Otherwise, he would have died without a doubt. I don't see anything in the Yuanshan secret realm, Lin Fei asked curiously. That's not true. The gray-robed elder shook his head. Don't you know that those spirit arts can be collected and sold for a high price in the Merchant Association? Good spirit arts can even be exchanged for pure faith energy. Don't tell me you don't know that. Lin Fei laughed. I really don't know that. Right? What is this faith energy? The word faith immediately piqued Lin Fei's interest. With such a huge commotion here, there will probably be creatures coming soon. Why don't we go somewhere else? The gray-robed elder was more than willing to get close to such an expert, especially now that they were in Boundless World Mountain. Lin Fei took a look and nodded. The gray-robed elder was quite familiar with Boundless World Mountain. At the very least, they were not like Lin Fei and Dragon Wuhan. This was the first time the two of them had come here. If not for their strength, they would have died many times over. The dozen or so experts behind them was the best proof of that. One was trying to get close, while the other wanted to understand the situation. It didn't take long for the two to become familiar with each other. Lin Fei also knew that the gray-robed elder was an elder of the Heaven Roar celestial race. This time he had brought the clan's disciples here to train and obtain powerful spirit arts to cultivate. It's safer here. We can rest for a while. Boundless World Mountain is different from other places. Danger lurks everywhere, and no one can guarantee their own safety. Elder Xinyuan led everyone to an abandoned cave. Fortunately, it was relatively clean inside. Look at those creatures in Boundless World Mountain. They're probably heading towards the collapsed area. These man-eating things aren't easy to deal with. Elder Xinyuan pointed to the black mass of creatures outside. Even though they were hiding in the array formation, everyone still felt a certain pressure and fear. Right, this is pure faith energy. It can be used to cultivate the physical body and strengthen spirit arts. Xinyuan took out a pure crystal and handed it to Lin Fei. Lin Fei knew very well that this elder of the Heaven Roar celestial race probably had something up his sleeves. He wasn't worried at all. A universe-level body was much stronger than he imagined. In Boundless World Mountain, it wouldn't be a problem to be careful. Chapter 3296. Lin Fei's horizons were broadened. The Myriad Gods continent actually had such a good thing. Power of faith. Lin Fei had never thought that such a thing existed. With Elder Xinyuan's explanation, he was enlightened. Since the Myriad Gods continent was filled with celestial races, it was not strange for there to be power of faith. The power of faith might not be common in the victorious Thousand Empire, but in this cosmos it's a very popular item. Our Myriad Deity continent even worships the powerhouses of the cosmos. Elder Xinyuan said mysteriously, "It can't be." Long Wuhan said, "It can't be that the universe experts are still alive." Sitting behind Elder Xinyuan, Lin Shui laughed. Elder is talking about the totems left behind by the universe experts. The totems absorb the power of faith and can be worshipped by the universe experts. Once the enemies come, they can be summoned to battle. Lin Fei was secretly shocked. There is such a thing. This Myriad Gods continent is harder to deal with than I imagined. Master, you can also absorb this power of faith. Little devil who had been silent all this while, finally spoke. Lin Fei was also thinking about this power of faith. It was similar to prestige, covering all kinds of beliefs. Really? Little Devil's words were undoubtedly what Lin Fei needed the most now. Yes, there is no difference between power of faith and prestige. The system can help to absorb and convert it. At most, it will waste 10 to 20% of the power of faith. It is still a great help to master. 10 to 20% of the power of faith was something Lin Fei could choose to ignore for the time being. Looks like I have to study the power of faith, Lin Fei thought to himself. He casually asked, "Is the power of faith very popular outside?" Lin Shui finally had a chance to attack Lin Fei. Humph, humph. The power of faith is not something that can be easily obtained. Do you know what kind of place Boundless World Mountain was in the past? You definitely don't know. This is a place where the continent worships. Even now, there is still the power of faith. Elder Xin Yuan did not stop Lin Shui from speaking, as if he wanted to say it to Lin Fei and Long Wuhan. Of course, the main point was Lin Fei. After all, it could more or less be seen that Lin Fei was the leader of the group. Not only can the power of faith be used to enhance totems, but it can also be used for cultivation. For example, the cultivation of gods. Elder Xin Yuan added. The latter is more difficult, but totems are easier. Lin Fei listened for a while and understood a lot. At the very least, he knew that the power of faith had solved one of Lin Fei's biggest problems. With Lin Fei's wealth, if he could replenish it with the power of faith, that would be for the best. Establishing an empire was simply too high profile. Elder Xin, thank you for telling me these things. You've made a rookie like me not so muddle-headed. Lin Fei thanked the other party. If there's nothing else, we'll take our leave first. Lin Fei got up and prepared to leave. Elder Xin Yuan was obviously stunned. This was different from what he had expected. To be able to say these to Lin Fei was actually Xin Yuan's selfishness. If he could pull a martial path divinity expert over, it would be very easy to accomplish that matter in Boundless World Mountain. Brother Lin, wait. The other party wanted to leave, and Xin Yuan felt embarrassed. Originally, he was prepared to wait for the other party to speak. In the end, this kid was more difficult to talk to than he imagined. What's the matter? Lin Fei laughed in his heart and said in a serious tone. Long Wuhan also guessed it. This person was too passionate. Previously, they were fighting to the death. In the blink of an eye, there was a huge change. It would be a lie if he didn't have any thoughts. Long Wuhan didn't say anything. Unknowingly, he listened to Lin Fei. Such a difficult-to-obtain 10,000-year-old god crystal was directly given to him. Who would be so happy to give it to him? In Boundless World Mountain, Long Wuhan really had to rely on Lin Fei. That there is indeed something. Elder Shen Yuan also knew that if he didn't speak now, once the other party left, it would not be easy to find him again in Boundless World Mountain. I want to hire Brother Lin to go with me to a Yuan Shen secret realm. At the crucial moment, help me restrain a special creature. After the matter is done, I can make the decision and give you 5 million power of faith. I knew it would be like this. If there was nothing, the other party wouldn't be so passionate. 5 million power of faith. Not to mention Lin Fei. Even Guang Lianshui and the others were secretly shocked. This was a very high price, even in Myriad God Continent. Lin Fei temporarily didn't know the ratio of 5 million power of faith. From their expressions, it seemed that they were mostly shocked. 5 million power of faith should be able to exchange for a few 100 million prestige. Lin Fei thought in his heart. Seeing Lin Fei lowering his head in silence, Elder Xin Yuan thought that Lin Fei was thinking that it was too little. Honestly speaking, 5 million power of faith was indeed not high, especially when the other party was a martial path divinity. 6 million power of faith. This is my highest limit, Lin Fei said. Sure, but you have to give me half of the power of faith first. As for whether or not I can block it, I can't guarantee anything. I can only say that I will try my best." Elder Shin Yuan heaved a sigh of relief. With this martial path divinity around, the chances of success were extremely high. 6 million power of faith was definitely worth it. "This is a God faith card." Elder Shin took out a black card. The black card was filled with ancient runes that Lin Fei actually didn't recognize. This card is made of a special material that can store power of faith. There are 5 million power of faith inside. I'll give it all to you, including the card. Lin Fei didn't expect Elder Shin Yuan to be so confident in him. Of the promised 3 million power of faith, Elder Shin Yuan directly gave him 5 million power of faith. When the God faith card landed in Lin Fei's hand, it instantly gave off a special feeling. Lin Fei wasn't in a hurry to absorb the power of faith. This matter wasn't urgent. He didn't want others to know that he could use the power of faith, so he quickly refined it. After accepting his money, Lin Fei naturally had to help him. According to Elder Shin Yuan, there was no need to go to Long Wuhin's other places. Those places were all in the past. They were either occupied by others or guarded by powerful creatures. Upon hearing such a reply, Long Wuhin's eyes nearly turned black. However, she quickly recovered. At the very least, she had gained something. Her brothers and sisters might not be as lucky as her. Totem power. They traversed Boundless World Mountain. Lin Fei witnessed the means of the myriad god continent. A pillar that was dozens of feet tall was covered in runes. When it was activated, a force enveloped everyone. Along the way, there were almost no attacks from special creatures. Even if there were, they automatically retreated when they sensed the power of the totem. Upon seeing this scene, Long Wuhin was too deep for tears. It was really infuriating to compare oneself with others. Totems were really good stuff. Chapter 3297 Boundless World Mountain. Lin Fei, Shin Yuan, and the rest walked through the forest unhurriedly. Compared to Lin Fei and Long Wuhin's rampage, Shin Yuan and the rest clearly knew how powerful they were. They activated their totems and avoided the attacks of the special creatures. The journey was very safe. Along the way, Elder Shin Yuan mentioned the use of totems. Although they could not unleash their strongest attacks in Boundless World Mountain, a godly venerable without a totem could not break the totem's protection. Lin Fei did not idle around. He exchanged his insights on primordial spirit combat, such as some of the myriad god continents techniques, such as the flood dragon's protection, and so on. Although Lin Fei now had a universe-level body and strong physical strength, after seeing the myriad god continents techniques, he realized that he should try out a few powerful physical techniques. This way, he could unleash his full power. Currently, Lin Fei was more or less unable to use all of his physical strength. Lin Fei had learned about the godly venerable martial path that Shin Yuan mentioned. They were special warriors who pursued the pinnacle of the physical body. Every godly venerable martial path was extremely powerful. It was unknown whether Lin Fei was lucky or Shin Yuan wanted to communicate more with him, but he really took out a mystic technique called the Flood Dragon Magic Enhancement. This godly venerable martial path technique was something that Shin Yuan had obtained by chance. Although it helped him to a certain extent, he, who was used to fighting with the primordial spirit, did not like such techniques that increased his physical strength. But it was different for Lin Fei. Prestige was precious. Lin Fei would never reject something that could increase his physical strength. In a short 3 days, Lin Fei mastered the Flood Dragon Magic Enhancement. If he was not afraid of alerting others, he would have done it in half a day. Brother Lin, nice move. At that moment, WYRMS spiraled around Lin Fei's body. At the same time, runes covered the surface of his body. It was none other than the WYRMS enchantment magic. By covering his skin with WYRMS, he could use them to both defend and attack. Lin Fei activated it, and 10 or so flood dragons drilled out of the ground. As soon as a special creature appeared, it was torn to pieces by the flood dragons. There was no need for him to do anything. Just this method alone was enough to fill Lin Fei with joy. I really have to thank Elder Shen Yuan for this. Lin Fei dispersed the dozen or so flood dragons. He was very familiar with the control. This kind of method can only be perfectly executed by a martial Tao divinity. I have really broadened my horizons. Elder Shen Yuan was inwardly shocked. The other party's comprehension was too strong. Someone's coming this way. Lin Fei suddenly narrowed his eyes. Under the surveillance of the system, it was easy for Lin Fei to know the situation. Someone's there. Elder Shen Yuan did not sense anyone coming over and subconsciously frowned. He's here. More than 10 figures dashed out from the forest ahead. They seemed to have sensed the presence of Lin Fei's group and directly rushed over. The person at the front took out a large, bead-like object. Not good. They're from the Wandering God clan. Elder Shen Yuan's expression changed as he activated his totem. A huge barrier opened up, followed by a loud rumbling sound. It turned out that the bead-like object was a large-scale destructive treasure. It's Shen Yuan from the Heaven Roar God clan. Ha ha ha, our luck is pretty good. Someone shouted over there, looking very excited. Attack the totem for me. So. Totem after totem flew over from their side and landed outside in a circle. Each totem was very thick and 10 feet tall. When the totem landed, the ground seemed to tremble. A total of 6 totems landed on the ground in the blink of an eye. Once the totem was formed, a towering hand came out of the totem and slapped the barrier that was activated by Shen Yuan's totem, immediately changing the shape of the barrier. A crack appeared on the totem in Shen Yuan's hand. You guys are really shameless. You actually brought out the 6 directions totem. Shen Yuan continued to activate the totem as he explained to Lin Fei, the Wandering God clan in the Myriad God continent is considered a street rat. They are the type that everyone wants to beat up. They are best at plundering the treasures of experts. Wherever they go, there will be chaos. They are very cunning. I never expected them to plot against Boundless World Mountain. They are too bold. Rumble. Just as Shen Yuan was explaining, the ground beneath their feet began to shake. A guy with 3 heads and 6 arms burrowed out of the ground. 6 extremes battle formation. The 6 arms held 6 weapons, each of which was different. They attacked them ferociously. With the attack of the 6 directions totem formation, Shen Yuan was forced to do his best to protect the totem. Once he lost the protection of the totem, he would definitely not be able to withstand the blow. Brother Lin, sorry to trouble you. Shen Yuan was secretly glad that Lin Fei was here. If not, they would be in big trouble. The Wandering God clan had put in a lot of effort to plunder more treasures. If it had been elsewhere, Shen Yuan would definitely not have been caught off guard. With that person's 3 heads and 6 arms, the experts of the Heaven Roar God clan could not withstand him and were forced to retreat. Under the Essence Soul battle, the other party used all sorts of combat techniques. He was like a ferocious tiger descending the mountain. Shen Yuan, let's see what else you can do this time. Another expert from the Wandering God clan burrowed out of the ground. His essence soul was a heavenly hound with 3 heads. When it opened its mouth, it spewed out a black mist that seemed to darken the world. Lin Fei had grasped the flood dragon enchantment. Actually, he wanted to see how powerful they were. One flood dragon after another rushed out of his body and blocked the way of the Heaven Roar God clan disciples. It was the same in front of Long Wuhan. With Lin Fei's current body, he could easily condense more than 100 flood dragons. The flood dragons had impressive defenses. The 3-headed, 6-armed expert was actually unable to blast them apart. In fact, the surrounding flood dragons even rushed out one after another and attacked fiercely. Dragon Claws and Dragon tails covered the sky as they attacked. In the blink of an eye, more than 100 flood dragons surrounded them, almost sticking close to them as they attacked. The flood dragons, condensed from a universe-level body, were not something they could easily defeat, be it in terms of attack or defense. In the blink of an eye, they were trapped by the flood dragons and bitten from top to bottom, forcefully tearing them to pieces. The Heaven Roar God clan members in the totem had a lingering fear. The attacks of the wandering gods were too fierce, and they could not withstand them at all. However, Lin Fei's combat strength was beyond imagination. Was this the strength of a martial Tao divine lord? He did not take action personally and just condensed a flood dragon to easily bite them to death. They finally knew the true strength of a martial Tao divine lord. Boom! Boom! More than 100 flood dragons rushed out of the ground. The wandering gods thought that they had eaten up the Heaven Roar God clan and might be able to reap a harvest. Who would have thought that the situation would change in the blink of an eye? More than 100 flood dragons would pounce over. The scene was not an ordinary kind of horror. Retreat! The totem flew back with a swoosh. How could Lin Fei let go of the totem? He grabbed it with one hand, and the 6 pillar totems fell into his hand. The summoning power of the totems was directly wiped out. Chapter 3298. The wandering gods had never expected the existence of a person like Lin Fei. With the 6 huge totems in hand, the rebound from the totems did not stand a chance against Lin Fei's immense strength. They were forcefully suppressed, and the summoning power was completely erased. The totems became ownerless. Lin Fei did not chase after them. Who knew what dangers he would encounter in Boundless World Mountain? It was best to be as careful as possible. Brother Lin, well done. It's rare for you to defeat them in one go. It's really satisfying. Elder Shin, Yuan exclaimed. Fortunately, you did not chase after them. The wandering gods are best at sneak attacks and schemes. Every time they attack, they have prepared a path of retreat. Once they chase after them, there will definitely be trouble. Lin Fei played with the totem in his hand and soon discovered something incredible. There was a depression in the totem, and 5 god faith cards were embedded in it. It was very eye-catching. Brother Lin, you are in luck. The wandering gods have suffered a huge loss this time. 6 totems and 6 god faith cards. Elder Shin Yuan smiled even more happily. Through Elder Shin Yuan's explanation, Lin Fei knew that the totem he carried around with him required faith power to be activated. Other powers could not be activated. Shin Yuan, return the totem to us, or we'll teach you a lesson. Suddenly, a loud shout came from afar. It's the wandering gods. They were indeed hiding nearby. Elder Shin Yuan sneered. Lin Fei took out the 5 god faith cards, and each one contained 500,000 faith power. His eyes lit up as he thought to himself, these wandering gods are quite rich. In the myriad gods continent, even outside, the power of faith was a currency. Activating the totem required the power of faith, and the wandering gods were considered to be quite wealthy. To Lin Fei, who lacked prestige, the wandering gods were a good gift. Since they had not left, there was no need for them to leave. Wait for me here. Lin Fei rushed out like a stream of light. Everyone, including Elder Shin Yuan, saw a blur and could no longer see him. Strong, ridiculously strong. In front of him was a dilapidated ruin. He couldn't see what this place was like when it was alive, but one thing was certain. This place should have been quite prosperous before this. At this moment, more than 10 people stood on the dilapidated ruins, their faces gloomy. Just now, when they launched a sneak attack against the Tian Shao God clan, they had actually failed. 6 of their totems had been snatched away by the other party, and their summoning abilities had been erased. Their side had lost 2 experts. I have to get the totem back. In Boundless World Mountain, without the protection of the totem, our combat strength is reduced by 40%. No matter what that person does, the totem is not that easy to suppress. The auras of the dozen, or so people, were thick and vigorous. It was obvious that they did not think that the other party could easily erase the existence of the totem. The power of 6 totems was not something that the Tian Shao God clan could completely suppress. Boom, boom, boom. Before they could finish speaking, there was a loud rumble, and the ruins were instantly attacked by a terrifying force. The remaining ruins of the building instantly turned into dust. It was as if they had been smashed by a hammer, and blood flowed from all over their bodies. A few of the weaker ones vomited blood on the spot, while the rest did not fare much better as they all staggered. If you don't want to die, hand over everything on you, such as the power of faith and other valuable items. In the middle of the ruins, a young man had appeared out of nowhere. It's him. This is the kid who snatched our totems. One of the wandering gods recognized the other party. If not for this person, they would not have suffered such heavy losses. If your skills are inferior, then you must be prepared to die. Dozens of flood dragons rushed out of the ground and surrounded the wandering god expert. In a single exchange, they tore the other party into pieces. Lin Fei strode over. Recently, a heavily injured wandering god stepped into the depths of the ground, and he could not be more dead than he was. If I were you, I wouldn't care about money in order to survive. Along the way, all the injured wandering gods were beaten to death. Every time he finished them off with one kick. This greatly stimulated and shocked the wandering gods in front of them. Since when did their divinity experts explode with one kick like sandbags? Everyone attacked together. The leader of the wandering gods shouted. The battle, primordial spirit, was activated. Lin Fei's movements were faster than them. Waves of fist wind swept out and swept all over them. The battle, primordial spirit that had just appeared was instantly seriously injured and was on the verge of death. One of them was directly blown up by the fist wind. Martial path divinity. You are a martial path divinity. In Boundless World Mountain, Lin Fei did not dare to cause too much of a commotion, so he simply attacked with all his strength and defeated them. The leader of the wandering gods had good eyesight, and a look of panic appeared on his face. Unarmed and not needing the battle, primordial spirit, he could only be a martial path divinity. You guessed it right, but unfortunately there is no reward. Lin Fei smiled and said, "Have you thought about it? Do you want me to kick you to death, or..." The remaining wandering gods were scared out of their wits. It was not easy for them to meet their target, but it turned out to be a martial path divinity. Their luck was too bad. "Don't kill us, we don't want anything." The leader opened his mouth and begged for mercy. He threw out all the storage rings on his body, leaving nothing valuable on him. He was straightforward and efficient. Lin Fei was prepared to kick a few more guys to death. They did not cultivate their physical bodies and switched to the path of the battle primordial spirit. They might be a threat to others, but to him they were really weak. Soon, there were a lot of things piled up on the ground. Storage rings, totems, weapons, everything that one could think of was there. Just 3 million power of faith. And you guys still have the nerve to come out and rob. Lin Fei took out a few God of Faith cards from his storage ring. All of them added up, it was only 3 million. This was too different from what Lin Fei had imagined. The few wandering gods almost vomited blood. 3 million power of faith was a lot. They were all doing business without any capital. Everyone could bring a few million power of faith with them, and they were actually quite rich. It was a pity that they met Lin Fei, who thought that power of faith was easy to obtain. Not enough. Lin Fei narrowed his eyes. "I've decided that it's better to beat you guys to death. Who asked you to be so poor?" "Wait, I know an important piece of news." Seeing that Lin Fei was about to attack again, the leader of the wandering gods was shocked and blurted out. "News?" Lin Fei chuckled. "Tell me about it. If it's not important, I don't mind. Senior will definitely like it. Let's go there from here." The experts of the myriad God continent and the Tianwu continent have all gone there. There's a lot of power of faith there, and they are all fighting for it. This news is absolutely true. Fighting for the power of faith. Lin Fei suddenly became spirited. This was definitely good news. It was really unexpected news. Yes, yes. The leader of the wandering gods nodded and said, Lord Marshal, Tao Divinity, I wouldn't dare to lie to you, even if I had 100 guts. Lin Fei carried the leader of the wandering gods back to the previous battlefield. He casually threw him to the ground. Repeat what you said before. In order to confirm if it was true, Lin Fei didn't mind letting Elder Shin know about it. That person repeated what he said again. Elder Shin was more attentive and asked several questions. After a few rounds, he said to Lin Fei, the news should be true. Scram. Lin Fei didn't kill him. After stripping him of his belongings, it wouldn't be easy for him to survive in the boundless world mountain. I didn't expect that there would be a place that produces power of faith in the boundless world mountain. Elder Xinyuan said, It's no wonder that every time the boundless world mountain appears, the major factions will gather. Lin Fei really wanted to meet the experts from the major sects of this universe. I'm afraid I can't go there with Elder Shin, Lin Fei said as he took out the God Faith card. Elder Shin Yuan laughed and said, Brother Lin, the place I want to go is in this direction. I wasn't worried at first, but now I'm afraid that those people from the major sects will accidentally discover that place. Lin Fei cared a lot about the power of faith. It was an important way to supplement his prestige. Even if there were many experts in that place, Lin Fei was confident that he would be able to gain a foothold. Regardless of whether it was Elder Xinyuan or the leader of the Wandering Gods, they could all prove one thing, and that was the power of a martial Tao divinity. In other words, his physical body was tyrannical and invincible. Let's hurry over, lest someone beat us to it. Along the way, Lin Fei and Shan Yuan activated their totems back and forth, avoiding the spying of the creatures in the dark. They approached the place that Shan Yuan mentioned without any mishaps. Oh no, someone beat us to it. They've already arranged for people to stand guard outside. When Lin Fei and Shin Yuan's group arrived, it was a solitary temple that exuded a sacred aura. However, there were more than 10 people stationed outside the temple, monitoring the surroundings from all directions. Anyone who wanted to barge in would have to face them. Do you know who they are? Lin Fei asked. The people outside the temple were dressed the same. They were dressed in silver armor, and their bodies exuded a radiant aura. There from the radiant temple, Xin Yuan took a deep breath. At the same time, they're also one of the top 10 powers in the myriad God continent. I didn't expect them to discover us first. Then what do you want to do? Lin Fei asked. Xin Yuan smiled bitterly and said, The Radiant Temple is a temple that enshrines the Radiant God with a universe-level body. Our Tian Xiao God clan is like an ant in front of them. Lin Fei was secretly shocked. They have the bodies of universe-level experts. Shen Yuan did not notice the look of surprise in Lin Fei's eyes. In the myriad God continent, as long as there's a temple, there will be universe-level bodies. They worship them day and night, absorbing the power of faith. They can display the combat strength of a universe-level expert. Who would dare disobey them? Lin Fei secretly drew a cold breath. The myriad God continent is ridiculously powerful. I wonder what the situation is like in the Sky Martial continent. After knowing the other party's background, Shen Yuan no longer dared to take the risk. Chapter 30, 299. Shen Yuan no longer had any extravagant hopes of entering the temple to obtain the things inside. The Temple of Light was so strong that he couldn't even think of resisting. The other party was like a huge mountain in front of him that he couldn't cross. Who? Just as they were about to retreat, Lian Shui stepped on a withered branch. The cracking sound was extremely ear-piercing in the quiet environment. A warrior from the Temple of Light, who was standing nearby, shouted loudly. A battle, primordial spirit flew out. It turned out to be an angel with a pair of wings. There were a total of 4 wings. When the wings spread open, dense rays of light shot out. These rays of light were like blade beams that flew over. Xin Yuan's face darkened as he summoned his totem, and a huge barrier appeared. Retreat! Once the totem protection was activated, it could be considered to have blocked the overwhelming attack of the blade beams. With just this move, Lin Fei witnessed the power of the Temple of Light. The attacks of these people even contained thoughts within them. Those who were distracted would also be hit from a certain distance. It's a misunderstanding. We accidentally barged into this place. We'll leave immediately. To Shen Yuan, offending the Temple of Light was not a good thing. To the Tian Shao god race, it might be exterminated. In the myriad god continent, the tyranny of the Temple of Light was well known. Other than the few top god races, the other god races were no match for the Temple of Light. So it's the Tian Shao god race. How dare you covet the treasures of our Temple of Light? A few experts from the Temple of Light at the front pressed forward. The light god behind them was activated. Immediately, above everyone's heads, blade beams slashed down. They did not give Xin Yuan any chance to explain. It was extremely tyrannical. Xin Yuan activated his totem. The power of faith was consumed extremely quickly. His expression turned extremely ugly. He originally thought that if he bowed his head, the experts of the Temple of Light would show mercy. He did not expect them to be so tyrannical. Kill them all. Don't leave a single one alive. More than a dozen experts from the Temple of Light surrounded him at low altitude. They launched a series of fierce attacks on the totem shield. Their strength was clearly much stronger than Xin Yuan's. When they joined forces, the protection of the totem was clearly insufficient. It was on the verge of breaking. It's just a bunch of birdmen. What's there to be afraid of? Lin Fei laughed out loud. Outside, dozens of flood dragons soared into the sky and surrounded the flood dragons. No matter how the light attacks landed on the flood dragons, they were not affected in the slightest. Not good, there's an expert. An expert of the Light Temple said before he died, the attack of dozens of flood dragons was very terrifying. If they surrounded him, he would be killed in an instant. The dozen or so experts of the Divine Light Temple distanced themselves from each other. At this time, Lin Fei got out of 2T's protection and punched out. The nearest expert of the Divine Light Temple was sent flying and vomited blood in midair. Light slash. Rays of saber light formed from the power of light slashed down. Lin Fei seemed to have entered an uninhabited realm. When the saber light landed on his body, it was like a tickle. As for the bewitching voice, it was suppressed, not affecting him at all. Martial path divinity, let's go. Some experts of the Light Temple recognized him and turned around to run toward the temple. The other experts of the Light Temple all retreated. Lin Fei would not give them a chance to escape. His punches did not miss. He chased after them and punched, destroying their bodies. They did not even have the chance to reassemble. Their primordial spirits were crushed into nothingness by his physical strength. Dong! 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 Finally, the expert of the Light Temple activated the totem and a large array was activated. Sir, what is the meaning of this? That person could not understand why a martial path divinity expert would appear here. I'm not used to your tone. Lin Fei strode over. I'm very interested in the things inside the Light Temple. His punch landed on the totem array like a meteor. The totem formation actually shook a little, which scared the expert of the Temple of Light quite a bit. Who is this person? How can a martial path divinity be so strong? In the myriad god continent, although martial path divinities were strong, they could not shake the totem array with a punch. Lin Fei's punch landed on the totem array, and the rebound damage landed on his body. He could not help but feel a little surprised. This kind of totem was similar to enchanted equipment. Flood dragons emerge! With a loud rumble, 100 flood dragons attacked the totem array. Oh no, I can't hold on for much longer. Under the attacks of Lin Fei's tempest, cracks appeared on the totem. Seeing that it was about to shatter, he did not dare to use the totem array anymore. With a wave of his hand, he put away the totem. I can only let the elders do it. This person is too strong. He quickly retreated into the light temple. Lin Fei sent a voice transmission to Xin Yuan. Elder Shen, you don't have to go inside. Take His Highness Long and leave first. I'll come find you later. Xin Yuan did not dare to say anything else. Brother Lin, be careful. If Lin Fei could come out alive, it would be good news for Xin Yuan. At the very least, the Light Temple would be wary. His Highness Long, I'll protect him. Long Wuhen was used to Lin Fei's impulsive personality. So what if the 10 major factions were here? This lord was not so easily negotiated. Lin Fei rushed into the Light Temple. With the flood dragon in front of him, he went straight ahead. An expert from the Light Temple who looks like a birdman. Hee, I wonder if there will be an 8-winged birdman or even a 10-winged birdman inside. With the flood dragon in front, the arrangements of the Light Temple could not affect Lin Fei. There are so many statues, and there is even a trace of power of faith in them. Along the way, Lin Fei saw no less than a dozen statues. They were lifelike and even carried a trace of pressure. They moved so fast. At the end of the corridor, Lin Fei heard the sound of someone coming over. Lin Fei's body moved, and he shot over like a streak of light. Are you sure it's a martial path expert? At the end of the corridor, there were more than a dozen birdmen, primordial spirits with wings, rushing over. Leading them was the 8-winged light temple expert, Poshan, and behind him was a group of 6-winged birdmen. I can't be wrong. He has been using his physical strength to resist, and even the totem array can't stop his ferocious attacks. I can guarantee that it's true. Poshan was a managing elder of the Light Temple and could be considered very powerful. He came out as soon as he heard the news. The matter inside was too important, and no mistakes could be allowed. Suddenly, a sense of danger arose in his heart. A powerful force came crashing over, and before he could even see what was going on, he was sent flying. All the bones in his body were broken, and he vomited large mouthfuls of blood. His subordinates were weaker than him, and they all turned into a mist of blood. Is this a martial path expert? In just a single exchange, Poshan was sent flying, and he was seriously injured. A chill came from the bottom of his heart. Not good. Something big is going to happen. Chapter 300. The interior of this temple was very large. Lin Fei constantly moved his body, and his powerful physical strength erupted. The 8-winged angels couldn't withstand a single impact and were injured. As for the 6-winged angels, they were finished in one move. Master, there's a dense amount of faith power ahead of us, Roland said. The little devil reminded. Good stuff. The more power of faith, the better. Regardless of whether there were experts from the Temple of Light or not, Lin Fei had to go in and meet them. In Boundless World Mountain, the death rate was so high. There was no difference between 10 or 100 deaths. The restrictions of the temple seemed to have been broken, and Lin Fei didn't encounter any restriction attacks. Lin Fei followed the direction and came to a huge space under the temple. A huge statue stood there, and the surroundings seemed empty. At this moment, a group of people was besieging the statue. As soon as Lin Fei came down from above, he encountered more than a dozen attacks. Obviously, they had received his message and were preparing for an ambush. The void around Lin Fei, who had unleashed his physical body to its fullest, kept collapsing. Layer after layer, the collapses extended outwards. The range of the collapses also kept expanding, rippling out in circles. Most of the power of the sudden attacks was neutralized, and the remaining part fell on Lin Fei with almost no effect. Flood dragons rushed out of the body, and several of them locked onto an expert. In the empty underground space, muffled groans could be heard. There was no need for Lin Fei to make a move. Once the flood dragons appeared, they couldn't breathe. Lin Fei's eyes fell on the statue. A door appeared behind the statue, and a faintly discernible thing seemed to be tempting everyone. Weapon. The thing in the door was a weapon. Lin Fei couldn't help but feel a little surprised. The statue stood motionless. Every time it made a move, the saber light crisscrossed, and the saber intent filled the space, constantly cutting the void. The experts of the Temple of Light couldn't get close to the door. There are actually 3 10-winged angels. Lin Fei's eyes lit up. Although he didn't know the level of power, no matter how strong he was, he might not be as strong as a universe-level fighter. Ambushing Lin Fei did not work, and the experts of the Temple of Light who attacked were injured by the flood dragon. This scene was naturally seen by the 3 10-winged angels as well, and their expressions changed slightly. Your Excellency has great strength. The 3 10-winged angels all chose to retreat, and the statue no longer moved. Only the blade intent continued to wreak havoc in the space. But you've got guts, Lin Fei interrupted them forcefully. I'm quite brave. I heard that there's something good, so I came in to take a look. If you guys want to make a move, then hurry up, or else you won't have a chance to make a move later. When these words fell into the ears of the 3 10-winged angels, they were extremely displeased. They could confirm that the person in front of them was a martial path divinity, venerable. However, he was extremely unfamiliar and definitely not from the 10,000 Gods continent. It was highly likely that he was from the Sky Martial continent. The Sky Martial continent was different from the 10,000 Gods continent. They trained their bodies, and while there were many martial path divinities there were very few on their side. A martial path divinity venerable of the Sky Martial continent, and so young at that, they had to take him seriously. What worried them the most was whether there were more martial path divinities behind him. Whether it was 1 or 2, that was the most worrying thing. Whenever the martial path divinities of the Sky Martial continent went out, they would usually go out in groups of 3 to 5. Especially at Boundless World Mountain, there was strength in numbers. 3 to 5 martial path divinities together could practically sweep away all enemies. They were worried that if they killed the person in front of them, they would anger the other martial path divinities. After all, martial path divinities were famous for being difficult to deal with. Each of them was extremely powerful, and they were known to be unkillable. Now that the other party had spoken, it meant that he was interested in the things inside, and his tone was extremely arrogant. The 3 10-winged angels were all big shots in the 10,000 Gods continent. They had never been ignored by a young man like this, as though he had them under his thumb. Sir, although you are a martial path divinity venerable from the Sky Martial continent, this place was found by our Radiant Temple. If you back out now, we can pretend that the matter of you injuring our people didn't happen. Qing Xian said expressionlessly. There are not many people who can make our Radiant Temple give them face. You must know how to cherish this opportunity. The 3 10-winged angels were not confident that they could withstand the attacks of the martial path divinities. They believed that the person in front of them would back out. The Radiant Temple was not that easy to trample on. It was a pity that the person they met was Lin Fei. You want me to leave? Sure. I charged all the way here and was ambushed and threatened. This person is really not agile anymore. Lin Fei laughed. The Radiant Temple is rich and overbearing. Give me a mental injury, and I'll just barely give you 500 million power of faith. Qing Xian's gaze turned cold. Sir, are you forcing us to attack you? Although you are a martial path divinity venerable, if we really want to deal with you, you definitely won't be able to gain any advantage. The other party was demanding an exorbitant price, which infuriated the three of them. There had never been a martial path divinity venerable who dared to ignore their radiant temple. They worshipped the corporeal body of a universe ancestor and could summon it to attack at any time. In the 10,000 gods continent, even the elite celestial clans did not dare to fight with the radiant temple. The corporeal body of a universe ancestor was in existence with absolute deterrence. It was not something that anyone was willing to offend. There were not many in the entire 10,000 gods continent who dared to ask the radiant temple for 500 million power of faith. The person in front of them was definitely not one of them. Humph. As one of the top 10 celestial clans, the radiant temple thought that you were rich and overbearing. It turns out that you can't even produce 500 million power of faith. In that case, I'll have to do it myself. Who asked me to not return empty-handed? Lin Fei smiled as he took a step forward. He raised his hand unhurriedly and punched out. Before the 3 10-winged angels could react, the space they were in collapsed. Layer after layer of energy surged over, forcing the 3 10-winged angels to use their wings to protect themselves. Under the impact of the ferocious energy, the 3 10-winged angels tottered. 10-winged angels, hee. Lin Fei swayed his body and came in front of Angel Qingxian, who had spoken first. He punched the wings that protected his body. The wings could not withstand the impact of a powerful force that was as thick as a mountain. A hole was blasted open in the wings, and the fist struck Qingxuan's essence soul. With a bang, Qingxuan's essence soul shattered into pieces, and a white light rushed out. In midair, a hand grabbed at him, and the white light landed in a palm. "Let me out." Lin Fei stood with his hands behind his back. "I'm in a good mood today. Scram as far as you can." The remaining 2 10-winged angels' expressions changed drastically. Elder Qingxian could not even withstand a single punch from the other party, and they were injured by the other party's punch. Release Elder Qingxian will leave immediately. With his bare hands and strength to such an extent, the 2 10-winged angel elders did not dare to act rashly. The other party's background in the sky martial continent was definitely very big. This matter was not easy to deal with. "You have no right to bargain." Lin Fei squinted his eyes. "Just because of your words, each of you hand over 5 million power of faith. Otherwise, I'll kill you with one punch. As for whether you believe me or not, you can try it yourself." Puff, puff. Under the attack of their blood and qi, the 2 10-winged angel elders spat out blood. This was too much. "You guys leave, don't stay here." Elder Qingxian still had not recovered from his shock. In the blink of an eye, he had become a prisoner. This martial Tao divinity was so fierce that it was a complete mess. "Elder, go! Take everyone away. You guys are not his match, lest you lose your lives." Elder Qingxian realized that he had kicked an iron plate. Lin Fei had extorted 5 million power of faith from each of them. In total, it was 10 million power of faith. He was quite dissatisfied. If he had known earlier, he would have asked for 10 million or 30 million power of faith. "I'll let you guys off easy." In an instant, the underground palace became empty, except for the statue. "Sir, if you let me go, as an elder of the Temple of Light, I can let this matter go." Elder Qingxian had become a miniature 10-winged angel. His face was extremely pale, and his primordial spirit was severely injured. "Shut up." Lin Fei spat out the power from his palm, and like a gust of wind, it swept towards Elder Qingxuan's body, causing him to roll around in pain. "Stop, I won't say any more, I won't say any more." Elder Qingxuan's primordial spirit was currently in a complete mess. After losing his physical body, Elder Qingxian, who only had his primordial spirit left, did not have the slightest ability to resist. "Tell me, what is inside? What is the origin of that statue?" Lin Fei looked at the statue and asked. "You better be obedient. If you say anything wrong, I have 100 ways to deal with you." I'll let you experience what it means to live a life worse than death. You understand. I understand. I understand. Lin Fei controlled his power to stab at Qing Xian's primordial spirit like a knife. That kind of feeling was not something that anyone could withstand. Elder Qing Xian was also straightforward. He told Lin Fei everything he knew in detail. After Lin Fei heard this, his interest increased greatly. Faith divine weapon, comparable to a universal weapon. If Lin Fei hadn't heard it, he wouldn't have known. But after hearing it, he was shocked. It turned out that the item inside was a faith weapon. It was forged from special materials and tempered with faith power. It was a very special weapon. The experts of the Temple of Light were also lucky to encounter this temple. They did not expect that they would consecrate a faith divine weapon. The statue in front of him was the guardian of the faith divine weapon. Although it could not move, its attack power was strong. If he wanted to enter the door to obtain the item, he had to destroy the statue head-on. Lin Fei looked at the statue and was secretly shocked. There's no trace of life on the statue. It has a pure, instinctive attack. Moreover, I feel a familiar aura from the statue. It should be the power of faith. It's not simple. A lifeless statue, after receiving the power of faith, gained strength that was not inferior to that of a powerhouse. This method was indeed eye-catching. You said it was a puppet, but it wasn't. The other party was very different from a puppet. The saber intent that covers the void is sharp and domineering. Even the primordial spirit of the Birdman doesn't dare to clash head-on. It sounds very sharp. I wonder if my physical body can handle it. Lin Fei strode towards the door. The statue moved. Chapter 3301. Lin Fei took a step forward and came to the area enveloped by the sword will. It's over, it's over. Elder Qing Xian, who was being grabbed by Lin Fei, closed his eyes. This statue was extremely terrifying. When the blade slashed down, the will of the Wei was like rain. It would not be easy to block it. Even if the other party was a divine martial artist, he might not be able to withstand it. Lin Fei punched with one hand and hit the statue's blade. Under such power, the blade did not break. It did not even leave a crack. Power of faith. When Lin Fei punched the blade just now, his original intention was to shatter the statue's weapon. The moment the power erupted, a strange energy had worn away the power that erupted from his body. The first thing Lin Fei felt was the power of faith. After blasting away the long blade with one punch, the second blade came. Compared to the last time, it was even faster. One blade contained hundreds of blades. Huge mountains of blades came crashing down, and the space collapsed with a rumble. The sharp sword will kept slashing at Lin Fei's body. So strong, so strong. Lin Fei was hit by the sword will, and the blood in his body churned. On his arm, there were many white blade marks. It was a shocking sight. Lin Fei had seen the power of the statue. No wonder the Temple of Light was helpless. Apart from consuming the power of faith, there was no other way to fight it head-on. The statue swung its saber at him again. Lin Fei's speed increased again, and the surrounding saber intent crumbled under the pressure. It shattered into pieces and spread throughout the entire palace. He can actually increase his speed. Elder Qing Xian was already shocked. He could not even display such speed. The other party was purely using his physical body to increase his speed. There was no distance between them. How powerful was his physical body? With the increase in speed, the statue's attack speed was obviously slower. The blade missed, and the raging sword will could not stop Lin Fei. Lin Fei punched again. The power surged and hit the center of the statue. The statue shook, and a subtle crack appeared on it. This kid can't be thinking of breaking the statue, right? Qing Xian was shocked. He's too bold. Lin Fei continued to punch, leaving only a series of afterimages. The statue, on the other hand, kept emitting cracking sounds as cracks covered its entire body. The statue could no longer attack Lin Fei when he moved. Boom! Another punch landed on the statue. Like a surging flood, the statue exploded into a pile of rubble. Lin Fei stood in front of the door. It really is the blessing of the power of faith. As soon as the statue shattered, the power of faith quickly disappeared. You actually broke the statue, Elder Qing Xian said in shock. What's so great about shattering a statue? Lin Fei said calmly. He reached his hand into the door and found that there was no danger. He grabbed the faith weapon and took it out. It was a 3-foot-long sword with a green edge. It looked very ordinary. However, as soon as it landed in Lin Fei's hand, he felt the thick power of faith in the weapon. It was like a long river, making him smile from ear to ear. Ha ha ha! Is this the power of a faith weapon? Lin Fei casually waved it and didn't activate the power of faith in the weapon. Qing Xian stared at the weapon. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he wouldn't have believed that the whole process would be so simple. Look at him, it was as easy as breaking dry weeds. You're lucky. This is a relatively complete weapon. If you sell it, you can definitely sell it for a high price. Even the martial Dao divinity equipment you want won't be a problem. Lin Fei thought, what's so rare about martial Dao divinity equipment? I have the power of faith converted into prestige. I can have any skills I want. It's much better than those things. I can even save my life at critical moments. After putting away the weapon, Lin Fei checked the surroundings, wanting to see if there were any good things. In the end, there was nothing. It was truly empty. Lin Fei was quite satisfied to be able to obtain a weapon of faith. From Elder Qing Xian's expression, he could tell that the quality of the weapon he had obtained was quite good. As long as you sell this weapon of faith to our Temple of Light, we can help you find anything you want, even if it's a universe-level cultivation technique. Elder Qing Xian was envious. Generally speaking, the quality of the weapons found would be very poor, but the one in front of him was maintained so perfectly. It was really rare, especially the power of faith in it. Elder Qing Xian didn't know what to say. Such a good thing had actually been taken away by a kid. Elder Qing Xian wanted to slap himself a few times. If he had known this would happen, he would have fought with all his might. Even if he had to pay the price, he wouldn't have hesitated. Anything is fine? How generous! But why were you reluctant to take out 500 million power faith just now? How dare you say that? Lin Fei shook his head. I can't be bothered to believe you. After leaving the temple, Long Wuhan and Elder Shen Yuan's auras had disappeared far away, as if they could be concealed. Lin Fei wasn't in a hurry to look for them. I heard that outsiders all go to a place in front. You should be familiar with it. Lead the way. Elder Qing Xian blurted out. You want to go to the Forbidden Soul area? So it's called the Forbidden Soul area. What an interesting name. Lin Fei smiled. If you can go, why can't I? Elder Qing Xian opened his mouth and thought to himself, this guy is too bold. It's not that easy to go to the Forbidden Soul area. If you're willing to join our Temple of Light, at least you won't die inside. Elder Qing Xian knew how to rope in such an expert. As for the primordial spirit injury, it was nothing. Every divine martial artist was worth roping in, especially the one in front of him. He absolutely believed that he was stronger than an ordinary divine martial artist. If he didn't rope him in now, when would he? I almost forgot. As an elder of the Temple of Light, you should know something about the Forbidden Soul area. Come, tell me everything. A gust of wind swept past Elder Qing Xian. Elder Qing Xian's primordial spirit was already seriously injured. After withstanding Lin Fei's attack, he quickly couldn't hold on. I'll talk. At the same time, in an even darker place, outside was a pile of rubble. On the pile of rubble, experts with strong auras were sitting cross-legged. All of them were resting with their eyes closed, as if they were waiting for something. Hey, Divine Son of Light, There seems to be something wrong with your people." In the distance, a group of people rushed over. A black-faced strong man who was sitting cross-legged opened his eyes and laughed unscrupulously. "Didn't they say that the Temple of Light is very powerful? Could it be that they were beaten back by someone?" Emohuhua laughed. He liked to mock the Temple of Light the most. The guy called the Divine Son of Light was very young and handsome. There was a very eye-catching divine rune in the center of his eyebrows. This was the famous Divine Rune of Light, which contained a powerful attack power. The Divine Son of Light was an extremely outstanding existence in the Temple of Light. Once they defeated all their opponents, they would become the Divine Son of Light and become famous throughout the world. This generation's Divine Son of Light was here. Behind the Divine Son of Light were 3 white-robed old men. They looked old and half asleep, but if anyone underestimated them, they would definitely regret it, because they were the protectors. They would protect the Divine Son of Light until he grew up. Any genius with first-class potential, as long as they passed the test, would have a certain chance to be protected by the protectors. The Divine Son of Light was protected by 3 protectors at once. One could imagine how much importance the Temple of Light attached to him. Generally speaking, as long as the older generation did not make a move, no one could kill such a person. Everyone knew that the older generation would not make a move against the younger generation. Even if everyone knew that the Divine Son of Light had great potential, no one would kill him in front of everyone. This kind of thing would not be put on the table. For example, Emohuhua and the Divine Son of Light were both well-known figures of the younger generation. They did not like each other, so no one dared to kill in front of them. Even if it was in secret, they could not leave any evidence. Such people were not easy to deal with. "Divine Son, something has happened." It was the 2 elders who rushed over. They came to report as soon as they left the temple. The 3 protectors were still half asleep and did not pay attention to each other. The Divine Son of Light looked calm, but there was a trace of doubt in his heart. After knowing the cause and effect of the matter, he subconsciously looked at one of the piles of rocks. There were more than 10 divine martial lords sitting there. They were from a powerful sect in the Sky Martial Continent. The powerful divine martial lords would definitely think of the Sky Martial Continent. There were the most body cultivators there, and it was easier to walk the path of divine martial lords. If it's someone from the Sky Martial Continent, then it will be a bit troublesome. The Divine Son of Light said calmly. He could easily defeat Elder Qing Xian, so his strength was obviously ordinary. The Divine Son of Light did not care that an elder had been captured. No matter how big the matter was, it was not as important as what was in front of him. The Forbidden Soul area was a special place in Boundless World Mountain. Although there seemed to be no changes on the surface, in fact, there were many ancient civilizations living in it. This place had been set up by a great formation, and it had always been sealed within. There were also rumors that, in the past life of the Forbidden Soul area, the existence of a top sect, the overlord of Boundless World Mountain. Later, the Forbidden Soul area erupted, and the ancient beings took action. The sect was greatly weakened, and since then the sect declined. The Forbidden Soul area did not change because of this. It had always been a land of death. But in the land of death, the things left behind by the ancient beings were tempting. There were the corpses of universe-level warriors in there. It was impossible not to be tempted. With Elder Qing Xian's guidance, Lin Fei rushed to the Forbidden Soul area at a steady pace. At the same time, he also learned a lot of information. He knew that it was a place where ancient beings were imprisoned. The people from the big forces came in person for the Forbidden Soul area. The other temples and palaces were small, and they did not care about them. The things in the Forbidden Soul area were worth dozens or even hundreds of things outside. Finally here. Chapter 3302. I feel a heart-palpitating aura. I didn't expect there to be such a place in the Hopeless Realm Mountain. It's really magical. Looking at the Dark Mountain, Although it was not very big, the upper part of the dark mountain had been cut off and a huge black palace was built. It looked very strange in the darkness. It was the aura of the ancient existence suppressed in the Forbidden Soul area. Lin Fei himself was shocked by the aura. Ancient existences. They were really immortal. Any one of them was at the level of an old monster. There are a lot of them. The aura leaking out makes people feel afraid and uneasy. The ancient force that suppressed them back then was really terrifying. The ancient existence suppressed them just like that. The aura coming from the Forbidden Soul area could still be felt after such a long time. No one dared to look down on them. Even if they could only feel a trace of their aura now, they were still tyrannical and invincible existences. Lin Fei was also filled with admiration towards the peak power that had suppressed them. In this part of the cosmos, it was definitely an overlord among the overlords. After all, who would dare to suppress someone without some ability? Any ancient existence would have a large number of friends and a huge power behind them. This suppressing force was really a mess. Even if its aura was weak now, the aura that was leaking out now was still a universe-level existence. Looking at the current situation, universe-level experts were very rare. Even universe-level experts had to be recruited by the Eternal Church. Otherwise, they would be suppressed. This situation was really different from the past. The gap was really big. Lin Fei withdrew his gaze and noticed the experts on the pile of rocks in the distance. They each occupied an area and seemed to mind their own business. Their auras are all very strong. If I hadn't cultivated a lot of body-refining techniques, I'm afraid I wouldn't be as good as any of them here. Lin Fei was secretly surprised by the strength of the experts. This was a true expert. He had the desire to fight. If I go all out, I should be able to kill any one of them with 3 punches. Lin Fei said to himself, there are a few of them who are quite powerful. You should be familiar with them. Tell me about their backgrounds so that I know better. Lin Fei asked Elder Qing Xian. There were hundreds of people standing on the pile of rocks. There weren't many of them, but every single one of them was a powerful individual. Lin Fei was naturally interested in getting to know them. Unfortunately, he had not met Xiao Yin and his daughter. Otherwise, things would not have been so troublesome. Elder Qing Xian was scared after being tortured. He really said everything he knew. Anyway, even if he didn't say it, she would find out sooner or later, so he might as well tell her honestly and avoid suffering. He didn't want to experience that kind of suffering again. Do you see those guys whose auras are so dense? They're the experts of the Sky Martial Continent. They're from the Sky Martial sect, the #1 sect in the Sky Martial Continent. The one leading them is called Tianlei Lai, a young master. The people in the upper left corner are all arrogant fellows. They are not from the Sky Martial Continent, nor are they from the Myriad God Continent. They are from the Star River Prefecture's Li family. They have always treated us like country bumpkins. Our light temple does not like them. Myriad God Continent's Darkness Divine Temple's Mo Buhua, an old enemy of our Divine Temple of Light. The thin elder behind him is a Tao protector, the divine son of light of the Divine Temple of Light. The 3 behind him are Tao protectors. Elder Qing Xian explained in detail. Unknowingly, Lin Fei had a general understanding of the forces at the scene of the rubble. First was the Myriad God Continent. Several forces of the divine race had come. Not only were there from the Divine Temple of Light, but there were also experts from the Darkness Divine Temple and the Earth Divine Temple. In addition, there was the Sky Martial Continent. Only the Sky Martial sect had come. They had more than 10 divine martial venerable experts, and their strength could not be underestimated. Outside of them was the Star River Prefecture's Li family. They also seemed to have a very powerful background. According to Elder Qing Xian, everyone was from the Star River Prefecture. The Li family who could live in the Star River Prefecture was innately superior to them. The Li family's aura was especially strong, and they occupied the largest area. They had a high and mighty appearance and were very arrogant. This Forbidden Soul area has really attracted a lot of attention. Lin Fei floated down. When he appeared, the first to react were the two elders of the Divine Temple of Light. It's him. He actually dares to come here. Kid, hand over Elder Qing Xian. The two elders seemed to have gained a backbone. When they saw Lin Fei appear, the eight-winged angel's primordial spirit rushed out and attacked Lin Fei fiercely. The aura of light surged. They were fast, but Lin Fei was faster. It seems that you don't know pain until I hit you. If it was Elder Qing Xian, he definitely wouldn't say such words. Lin Fei chuckled and punched out. One punch turned into two. The two elders of the Divine Temple of Light had indeed thought that with the Divine Son of Light and the Tao Protector around, the other party would not have the guts to attack again. They did not expect that Lin Fei would attack without hesitation. He punched out and the fist mark hit the two elders. The primordial spirit angel was sent flying by the punch and landed on the ground in the distance. It was on the verge of death. Sai, you forced me to attack. Aren't you just looking for trouble? Lin Fei landed on a huge rock unhurriedly. When Lin Fei punched out, the Sky Martial Sex Tianlei Lai laughed out loud. Brother, you're so strong to be able to send an angel flying with just one punch. I wonder which sect you're from. Do you want to know each other? I am Tianlei Lai of the Sky Martial Sect. Tianlei Lai was shocked by the strength that this person had displayed. There were no signs of any cultivation technique being used. It was a pure physical attack. This made Tianlei Lai's eyes brighten. Where did this freak come from? He did not use any cultivation technique, but his physical strength was so strong. If he had not seen it with his own eyes, Tianlei Lai would not have believed it was real. I am Lin Fei. I don't belong to any sect. I am just a loose cultivator. Lin Fei cupped his hands and said, I heard that there is something good here, so I came to take a look. Tianlei Lai was surprised again. This guy was actually a loose cultivator. Since when did loose cultivators have such strength? If he was not a loose cultivator, he would not have attacked in such an old-fashioned way. I like you, a loose cultivator. Mo Wuhua stood up and said in a loud voice, Anyone who attacks the Light Temple is a friend of the Darkness Temple. I wonder if Brother Lin is interested in joining the Darkness Temple. Lin Fei had a better impression of Mo Wuhua. No matter if he was telling the truth or not, at least he would leave a good impression on others. The Darkness Temple is good at recruiting people. Lin Fei obviously noticed that the people from the Temple of Brilliance were not looking good. It seems that the opposition between darkness and light has always existed. It seems that the Temple of Brilliance seems to be suppressing the Shrine of Darkness. Lin Fei smiled. I will think about it. After all, I am used to being lazy. Mo Wuhua did not show any dissatisfaction. He said straightforwardly, It's okay. The door of the Darkness Temple is always open to Brother Lin. It was normal that he could not recruit Lin Fei the first time. Wuhua, that kid is very strong. You have to be careful, the azure-clothed Tao Protector said via voice transmission. His physical body is filled with power, and it's deep and terrifying like a boundless ocean. It's a rather inconceivable matter. We should either rope him in or not offend him. Mo Wuhua was shocked. Is he not a loose cultivator? Since Lin Fei appeared, he had severely injured the two elders of the Light Temple with his bare hands without using any treasures. At the same time, everyone was looking forward to the next move of the Light Temple. Humph! Defeating two elders is nothing. An elder behind the Divine Son of Light shouted. The 10-winged angel's primordial spirit rushed out. Its wings were like blades, carrying the aura of light. In everyone's eyes, the 10-winged angel elder only had white blade radiance left, which slashed at Lin Fei. Lin Fei stood there without moving. Space collapsed as he used one hand to block the saber light. The saber light shattered. When everyone saw this, they were inwardly shocked. Strong. This person was very strong. It was not easy to destroy the attack of the blade radiance with pure physical strength. That was the attack of a 10-winged angel elder. Ordinary ultimate gods would not dare to take it head-on. Young master, we must pull this person into the sect. On the heavenly martial sect side, the eyes of the gray-clothed protector behind Tianlei flashed with shock. That light temple elder is about to lose. He can't even break through his opponent's defense. If this gets out, everyone will laugh their heads off. In the sky, the 10-winged angel elder had tried more than a dozen attacks, but still could not break his opponent's defense. This is all the light temple can do. Lin Fei shook his head and struck out with his palm. Amidst the airtight attacks, the 10-winged angel was sent flying, crashing in front of the divine Son of Light. This is really disappointing. Everyone realized there was going to be a good show when the 10-winged angel was defeated. Such an expert is indeed worth recruiting into the Sky Martial sect. Tianlei Lai revealed a look of joy. A lone martial path divinity, venerable, who had not displayed any cultivation technique up until now, was really ridiculously strong with his pure physical strength. If I cultivate a body refining killer move, I can't even imagine how strong I will be. At this moment, Tianlei Lai was tempted. His opponent was a martial path ultimate god that he did not know. He thought he was strong, but there was a huge gap between him and his opponent. At the very least, he could not beat the 10-winged angel elder with his bare hands. The light temple elder glared at him. His previous thoughts of not taking him seriously were suppressed. This person was indeed worthy of attention. Your Excellency, what do I have to do for you to release Elder Qing Xian? The divine Son of Light's body flashed with the aura of faith. He stopped the elder's action with a gesture. The person in front of him was not someone the 10-winged angel elder could deal with. In the eyes of the divine Son of Light, Lin Fei had relied on the purest physical strength to make the 10-winged angel elder, who had always been proud of, suffer a great loss. So fast! Why don't you come out and fight a few more rounds? Lin Fei laughed. I haven't had enough yet. The light temple elder glared at him, arrogant. If it was somewhere else, the divine Son of Light would not mind suppressing him. How strong could his pure physical strength be? But not here. Once the hopeless boundary mountain caused a big commotion and alerted those ancient existences, everyone would have to bear the consequences. This was also the reason why everyone was sitting together peacefully. They did not dare to cause trouble. This person is quite arrogant. He is no different from those martial arts addicts. He is smelly and tough. The divine Son of Light was expressionless. Force is definitely not allowed. The divine Son of Light knew the situation best. If he really attacked, the people from the Dark Temple would definitely attack. As for whether the Sky Martial sect would attack, it was highly possible. If the three parties fought, it would undoubtedly give others a chance to take advantage of the situation. Especially the Li family, they would probably applaud. I'll give you one more chance. State your conditions. I heard that you want the power of faith. I can agree to it. The divine Son of Light did not attack, which would definitely make those people unhappy. For example, the Li family from the Star River Prefecture. I missed a chance. Li Yunhao shook his head in disappointment. If the divine Temple of Light and the Dark Temple fought, they would be greatly weakened. They would not be qualified to compete with us. Li Yunhao was a high-level elder of the Li family. He looked down on the divine Temple of Light and the Dark Temple. He always thought that they were from the countryside. If it were not for the fact that the two temples had the attacking methods of the universe-level experts, Li Yunhao would have killed them long ago. It was not a big deal for a group of people to die in the hopeless boundary mountain. That Lin Fei is quite interesting. He doesn't use any body-refining techniques and only uses his physical strength. It is rare to see such a person. Li Yunhao said to himself, quietly watching the situation on the field. Lin Fei knew that he had met his match. Such a person could actually remain calm at such a time and did not even show a trace of killing intent. He was indeed worthy of being the divine son of light. He was indeed not to be underestimated. If I were to provoke him again, there might not be any benefits. Lin Fei thought to himself, just stop. Lin Fei knew very well that he was about to reach his limit. I heard that the divine temple of light is rich and overbearing. I have no enmity with the divine temple of light, but you attacked me as soon as you came. My heart. Lin Fei spouted nonsense with a straight face. Bring me 500 million power faith, and I'll release Elder Qing Xian. If you're not willing, there's no point in keeping him. You might as well kill him. Elder Qing Xian, who had been grabbed by Lin Fei, almost fainted. Was he going to die? The divine son of light might not be willing to take out 500 million power of faith. As for asking the divine son of light to take it out, Brother Qing Xian would definitely not dare to ask. 300 million power of faith, that is my limit. The divine son of light was still indifferent. If you don't want him, just kill him. He is just an elder. If he dies, then so be it. 300 million power of faith. The divine temple of light is indeed rich and overbearing. I want it. Lin Fei did not stand on ceremony. Hand over the power of faith and let him go. Chapter 3303. 300 million power of faith was transferred into a God of Faith card, and he casually threw it in front of Lin Fei. Thank you. Lin Fei grabbed the God of Faith card and threw it into the system space. He then released Elder Qing Xian. You're in luck. 300 million power of faith. I welcome you to take revenge. Qing Xian managed to escape and subconsciously rolled his eyes. Revenge? To think that you could even think of it. Elder Qing Xian didn't even have the guts to think about it. He would rather be abused. To think that he had the nerve to say that. Brother Lin, come, sit with us. After the transaction was completed, Mo Wuhua waved at Lin Fei. The guys from the Darkness Temple are the best at scheming. Our body refining school is better. Tianlei Lai also greeted enthusiastically. Let's talk about body refining. Although they didn't fight, Lin Fei's personality made the eyes of the forces present light up. Two country bumpkins, what's there to go? At this moment, a cold and disdainful snort was heard. Our Li family welcomes talents like you. As long as you join our Li family, when our Li family leaves, we can take you away from this place. When you reach the Star River Prefecture, you will know how wonderful the outside world is. A Li family disciple shouted. In the Li family's opinion, whether it was the Darkness Temple or the Radiance Temple, they were all the same. Even the Heavenly Martial sect was useless. In a small world, fighting to the death was a very boring thing. Outside, it would be a completely different story. The Star River Prefecture was a place where experts moved freely. Li Yunhao was interested in defeating the 10-winged Angel Elder with pure physical strength. With a little polishing, he would become a powerful expert. Where else could he find such a good thing? Li Yunhao believed that the other party knew how to choose. As long as he wasn't an idiot, he would go to the Star River Prefecture. That was a martial artist's paradise. I'm sorry, a country bumpkin like me can't go to such a high-end place. Forget about the Li family. Lin Fei rejected immediately. The other party kept calling him a country bumpkin, which made him very uncomfortable. Join the Li family? What a joke. That was no different from being a lackey. Lin Fei wasn't interested in going to the Star River Mansion. That place wasn't something he could go to for the time being. His accumulation wasn't deep enough. Just the Radiance Temple alone had the corpse of a universe-grade powerhouse. Who knew what kind of powerful existence the Star River Mansion had? How can you say that? The Li family disciple was displeased. Our Li family thinks highly of you. That's why we let you become our Li family's consecrator. How many people can only dream of this opportunity? You actually said that you don't want it. The Li family was a noble family of the Star River Prefecture. Many people wanted to become a consecrator. As long as they spread the news, countless people would line up. However, they had been rejected by a kid. This was looking down on the Li family. What are you threatening me? Lin Fei laughed. If you don't want to join, then don't join. If you have the ability, come and catch me. Believe it or not, I will kill you with one punch. The Li family disciple's face darkened even more, and his gaze became filled with resentment. Brother Yunhao, does your Li family really like to force people? Mo Wuhua's big mouth started to move again. You want to drag anyone you see to become a consecrator. You really have a way. Li Yunhao had a faint smile on his face. You misunderstood. I cherish a genius like Lin Fei very much. Becoming a consecrator of the Li family will allow his strength to increase by a few steps. Since you don't want to, then forget it. However, the Li family's gate welcomes you at any time. Lin Fei couldn't help but laugh. This Li Yunhao had killing intent towards him. His emotions contributed to his killing intent. The Li family's gate is too high. I think I'll pass. Lin Fei laughed. That's really a pity. Li Yunhao said with a face full of regret. It was as if he really felt that it was a pity. In fact, he had killing intent towards Lin Fei. If such a person wasn't used by the Li family, then there was no need for him to stay. Li Yunhao was vicious and merciless. It was fine if he listened to the Li family, but if he didn't, he would kill a martial Dao hierarch with good potential without any pity. Some people were happy about Lin Fei's appearance, while others were angry. The Temple of Light was naturally one of the angry ones. After Elder Qing Xian returned, he told the Divine Son of Light what had happened under the palace, including the divine weapon of faith in detail. Divine Son, that kid's strength is as strong as a mountain. It's not a good thing to keep him here. Elder Qing Xian said. He had set up a soundproof array outside them. If that guy is on the side of the Temple of Darkness or the Heavenly Martial Sect, it'll be quite troublesome. Elder Qing Xian had seen how powerful Lin Fei was. Their physical bodies were basically unable to withstand his attacks. Until now, Elder Qing Xian still didn't know what his opponent's limit was. As the name suggested, he hadn't been able to find out his specific strength. That was the most frightening part of it all. There's no need to worry about this. In the Forbidden Soul area, everyone has a goal. Once he leaves, I'll personally suppress him. The Divine Son of Light said, his body is very good and is very suitable to become a light warrior of the Temple of Light. It's not that easy to obtain 300 million power of faith. Elder Qing Xian subconsciously shivered. Lin Fei's strength was what Mo Wuhua was most happy to see. Brother Lin, you've taken 300 million power of faith from the Temple of Light. You're really bold. However, do you know who the Divine Son of Light is? He's an extremely narrow-minded guy. Back then, in order to become the only divine son of this generation of the Temple of Light, he killed all the other candidates. Mo Wuhua glanced at the Divine Son of Light in the distance and chuckled. Lin Fei didn't care about this. Although their expressions didn't change, the numbers didn't lie. He could distinguish good and bad people at a glance. If he wants to kill me, he'll have to see if he has the ability to do so. Lin Fei smiled and said, maybe I'll kill him then. I think it'll be very interesting if the Temple of Light loses a divine son. Ha ha ha, Brother Lin is really an interesting person. Mo Wuhua liked Lin Fei more and more. Actually, I've wanted to kill the Divine Son of Light for a long time, but I couldn't handle the 3 guardians behind him. Lin Fei didn't say anything. The 3 guardians were indeed very strong, and it wouldn't be difficult to kill them. What he was worried about was whether or not they had some powerful means of self-defense. The word Tao Protector was not that simple. If they couldn't even protect one person, what was the point of having guardians? This was the most important thing. The divine Son of Light was also more powerful than he had imagined. There was a dangerous aura on his body. Once it broke out, even Yi Futian's universe-level body would suffer. This was the most important thing that Lin Fei discovered. This guy from the Temple of Light was indeed ridiculously strong, and he even had a trump card. Such a situation was not limited to the divine Son of Light, but almost all the other young masters. They threatened each other and didn't dare to act rashly. Brother Lin, it won't be so easy for the divine Son of Light to kill you. If you don't mind, when the Forbidden Soul Area's great restriction is weakened, you can go in with us. Mo. Wu Hua invited. There's a place that needs an expert like Brother Lin. The Forbidden Soul Area was full of large formations. The presence of a martial Tao divinity gave them a huge advantage. Mo Wu Hua naturally wanted to rope in Lin Fei. Once we find any treasures, such as divine weapons of faith, Brother Lin, you can choose 3 of them. How about it? My sincerity isn't bad. There were no martial path divine masters in the Temple of Darkness, and there were only a few in the myriad God continent. It would be a real pity if they didn't seize such a good opportunity. Lin Fei wasn't very clear about the situation in the Forbidden Soul Area. It wasn't that he couldn't go with the Temple of Darkness, but there would be more or less restrictions, and he wouldn't be able to act as he pleased. Lin Fei had heard Zhao Tian's words very clearly. The Eternal Church was suppressing the universe experts, either to recruit them or to suppress them. Once they knew that he had a universe-level body, they would definitely come to capture him. Lin Fei didn't want to expose himself so early. It wasn't easy to find an alternative way to increase his prestige, and he didn't want to miss the opportunity. He needed to accumulate more. Brother Mo, I'm afraid I'll have to disappoint you. Lin Fei said politely, I plan to go alone. Anyway, many ancient existences are dead, so my luck won't be that bad. Mo Wu Hua was very surprised. The Forbidden Soul Area wasn't a place anyone could go. Although many ancient existences had died of old age, some had survived in special ways, and they were definitely terrifying existences. That's true. Your body is so strong. If your luck isn't too bad, you can really avoid danger. Mo Wu Hua was quite disappointed, but he didn't show any dissatisfaction. If you really encounter danger, you can contact me. Mo Wu Hua took out a token with the word Mo on the front and the word darkness on the back. Thank you. Lin Fei put away the token. Mo Wu Hua told him some things about the Forbidden Soul Area. Although Lin Fei knew a lot, it was all forced out by Elder Qingxian, so he had more or less concealed some information. Now that he said it, Lin Fei finally understood the situation. The people from the Temple of Light are really bad. It turned out that the Forbidden Soul Area was almost no different from the outside, but there are small spaces everywhere, and the ancient existences were imprisoned in these small spaces. If anyone accidentally broke in, they would most likely die. Lin Fei decided that the next time he met Elder Qingxian, he would beat him to death. Elder Qingxian dared to trick him, and he almost fell for it. Even if he had a strong body, he might not be able to withstand it. If he ran in and fell into those small spaces, Lin Fei would be so depressed that he didn't know what to say. Outside the Forbidden Soul Area, time passed day by day. There weren't many people in the rubble. It could be seen that not everyone could come to this place. Everyone was resting with their eyes closed, and Lin Fei was one of them. He had already transformed 300 million power of faith into prestige, which exceeded his expectations. 300 million prestige was exchanged for 200 billion prestige. It was just enough to release a small skill. Lin Fei was quite satisfied. The power of faith was a currency, and as long as he wanted to obtain it, there were still various ways. For example, the exchange of treasures. This was the most common. Chapter 3304. It's open. The experts, sitting cross-legged on the boulders, all opened their eyes as if they had a telepathic connection. The black fog shrouding the Forbidden Soul area seemed to be suppressed by an inexplicable force. Its power began to weaken, and the towering trees on the mountain could be vaguely seen. Before this, the things in the Forbidden Soul area could not be seen. People from the Temple of Light, follow me! The divine Son of Light moved. He summoned a huge phantom and blasted it toward the Forbidden Soul area. A passage was blasted open, and the experts of the Temple of Light quickly rushed in. Although the restriction of the Forbidden Soul area seemed to have weakened, it was not. Whoever dared to go in foolishly would definitely suffer a lot. Brother Lin, are you sure you don't want to go in with us? Emo Wuhua of the Temple of Darkness asked again. Thank you for your kindness, Brother Emo. Lin Fei said with a smile. I'll contact you if there's any danger. Emo Wuhua nodded and took out a treasure. It was a divine dark pagoda, and a phantom was also summoned. It struck across the air and blasted open the passage. The people of the Temple of Darkness followed him in. Lin Fei was not in a hurry. The phantom they summoned should be a universe-level expert when he was alive. Only they can have such power to break through the weakness of the seal. Lin Fei squinted and watched. The blasted passage did not last long. In 10 breaths at most, the passage would be swallowed up and disintegrated by the power of the seal, thus disappearing. If ordinary forces really came to the Forbidden Soul area, they could only watch helplessly. The power of the Forbidden Soul area could only be torn apart by a universe-level attack. The Divine Lord could only stand aside. Of course, this was under the condition that the power of the seal was weakened. The experts, sitting cross-legged on the boulders, used various treasures to tear open the seal and successfully entered the Forbidden Soul area. It seems that they are not interested in dealing with a little guy like me. Lin Fei stood up and shook his head. I thought I could get some power of faith. I'm ready to make a move. In front of treasures, I'm nothing. Until the last force entered the Forbidden Soul area. After making sure that there was no one around, Lin Fei walked up to the Forbidden Soul area and punched out. His physical strength exploded, and the power of the universe rushed out, blasting the sealing power apart. Compared to the previous methods that blasted open the passageway, Lin Fei's punch was more powerful and violent. There's always a difference in the strength of a dead universe-level fighter. Lin Fei squinted his eyes and rushed into the tunnel, disappearing into it. The sealing power is indeed powerful. My punch is even more powerful than theirs, but it still couldn't withstand the power of the sealing power. Lin Fei could feel the power in the tunnel disintegrating. He didn't care when the channel collapsed. Emo Wuhua had told him a few things about the Forbidden Soul Zone. For example, the Forbidden Soul Zone's sealing power had weakened, and would last for a year. Once the time was up, if you didn't come out, you wouldn't be able to leave. Not even universe-level experts could break the sealing power. He had to leave the Forbidden Soul area within a year. Lin Fei stood on the grass, unable to sense the aura of Emo Wuhua and the others, as if they had disappeared into thin air. They all came here for a purpose. They are all in the mini-space now. Lin Fei narrowed his eyes and sized up his surroundings. It was nothing but ordinary. If it weren't for the name Forbidden Soul Area, no one could imagine that ancient beings were imprisoned here. They would think it was an ordinary place, so they wouldn't pay attention to it. With Emo Wuhua's reminder, Lin Fei didn't have the nerve to wander around. If he ran into an old B** star, he would be doomed. Let me see what skills I can use to help. Lin Fei certainly had to cherish this 1 year's time. From the looks of the Divine Son of Light and others, Lin Fei could tell they cared a lot about the things in the Forbidden Soul area. They were very important, and they could enhance their strength. After searching for a while, Lin Fei did find a suitable auxiliary skill. Searching for 10,000 miles, it was a skill of little value, but for Yi Xian, this skill was good enough. Even the divine Son of Light and others didn't know how many spaces there were in the small Forbidden Soul area, let alone Lin Fei. The spaces they had found were probably left by the predecessors. Ding! 10 billion prestige points are consumed. Search across 10,000 miles. Lin Fei turned it into a space and limited its range. It happened to be within the range of the Forbidden Soul area. A huge field of vision showed up in Lin Fei's head like a flat map. Ding! Found a space. Identification, level 1 danger. Ding! Found a space. Identification, level 1 danger. Ding! Found a space. Identification, level 2 danger. The skill search across 10,000 miles worked better than Lin Fei had imagined. That's great. 10 billion prestige points are worth it. And the danger level is shown when I enter. On the flat map in his head, one after another space prompts popped up. At the same time, the danger level was marked clearly. I can't believe there's a space about 100 feet in front of me. Lin Fei looked at the nearest space. It was a level 1 danger space. He couldn't help but jump in fright. This was too close. If he were to recklessly charge in and encounter a level 5 or level 6 danger space, he would really cry. There are so many spaces. There are 869 in total. Among them, 4 out of 10 are level 1 dangers, 2 out of 10 are level 2 to level 3 dangers, 2 out of 10 are level 4 to level 6 dangers, 1 out of 10 are level 7 and level 8 dangers, and 1 out of 10 are level 9 and level 10 dangers. Lin Fei's eyes lit up after a slight calculation. There are 3 level 9 dangers and 1 level 10 danger. Looking at the marks on the map, Lin Fei took a deep breath. He was confident in his strength. But once he went to level 9 or level 10, he wouldn't be able to come out in one piece no matter how brave he was. Lin Fei was not a greedy person. With my current strength, it shouldn't be a problem for me to go below level 5. I still have to explore slowly. My goal is to find something valuable that can be exchanged for the power of faith. Lin Fei set a goal for himself. The dangers that others would encounter were nothing to Lin Fei. As long as he didn't go to those level 70, 80, and 90 dangers, he would be fine. But it was different for them. I'll go to the first space in front to take a look. It was a level 1 space. Lin Fei didn't encounter any danger and rushed into the space. Inside the space, there weren't mountains and rivers like he had imagined. Instead, it was a cold secret room that exuded an oppressive aura. The entire secret room was empty. It can't be, right? There's nothing here. After checking, there was nothing in the secret room. Someone must have ransacked it. Chapter 3305. The second space was also a level 1 space. As soon as he entered the space, it was also a secret room with gusts of chilly wind that cut like a knife. At the same time, black energy seeped over and tried to invade Lin Fei's body. This should be a heretical expert. The power in the black mist has a corrosive effect. Even a top-level ultimate god might not be able to withstand it. It's a pity that it met me. Lin Fei punched out, and a tornado was formed, sweeping across the area. After the whistling sound, the space became quiet. The chilly wind was no longer, and the black mist was also gone. If this is the level 1 danger, it's safer than I thought. Lin Fei thought to himself as his eyes fell on the skeleton. Let me see what good stuff is left behind. If Lin Fei's words were heard by others, they would probably bang their heads against the wall. They were not like Lin Fei, who had a cosmic body. The skeleton was golden with ancient runes attached to it. It seemed to be a problem of time, as the runes had become dull and colorless, as if they were about to collapse. Lin Fei slammed his palm on the skeleton, and a ray of light appeared as if it wanted to block the palm attack. However, as soon as the light met, it was immediately broken, and the skeleton was also smashed. What a pity! Lin Fei shook his head and buried himself in the examination. After a quick inspection, he was disappointed. Apart from the bones, there was nothing else. There was a weapon, but it had long since turned into scrap metal. He broke into 10 level 1 danger spaces in a row. Lin Fei practically didn't reap a single grain. This result was somewhat unexpected and unexpected. Therefore, he began to enter the level 2 space, followed by the level 3 space. There was not much difference between the level 2 and level 3 danger spaces. It was just the strength of the residual power. It was not worth mentioning in front of Lin Fei. After breaking into more than 50 spaces, Lin Fei obtained a divine weapon of faith. It was quite damaged and only had about 30% of its power. This was the first harvest. In Lin Fei's opinion, it should be worth a bit of money. There was a space mark. Lin Fei's journey was unimpeded. Level 3, Level 4, and Level 5. They didn't encounter any danger. From the Level 5 dangerous space onwards, there would be a certain amount of the opponent's spirit sense within, with decent battle power, but none of them had a universe-level power. Lin Fei's harvest also increased from 1 faith god weapon to 8, and its power also varied from 30% to 80%. This also proved one thing. Almost all of the ancient existences suppressed here used divine weapons of faith. Hua! Lin Fei rushed into another space. This space was a level 7 dangerous space. The moment he entered, it was not a secret room, but a landscape of mountains and rivers. Yuan Shen's secret realm. Lin Fei secretly rejoiced. He had not researched it previously. Along the way, he especially wanted to find a Yuan Shen secret realm space. Perhaps he could research some secrets. Lin Fei was also very interested in those remnant divine abilities. There are people here. If you don't want to die, get out of here. 2 beams of sword light slashed over like dragons, one from the front and one from the back. There were guards here. It wasn't easy to find a Yuan Shen secret realm. How could Lin Fei just turn around and leave? That would be a joke. Just because you told me to get out, I'll get out. Wouldn't that be embarrassing? Lin Fei reached out and grabbed, and the 2 sword dragons shattered. No one can stop me from going where I want to go. The one who attacked, Lin Fei remembered that it was a force called the Sword Sect. They were most proficient in Sword Dao. Lin Fei was disdainful. With his current physique, mere Sword Dao couldn't break through his defenses and threaten him. It's in front. Lin Fei sensed the ripples. He ignored the 2 brats and headed straight for the core of the Yuan Shen's secret realm. Stop him. Don't let him in. Along the way, there were a total of 3 groups of people. Each group was stronger than the last. Their sword techniques and sword Dao were unparalleled. Anyone who encountered them would have a headache. Lin Fei countered them with a punch. He didn't care what kind of skill it was, he just punched out. At the core, the people of Sword Sect surrounded an ancient expert, formed by a skill. Even though the ancient expert was dead, the skill he left behind was still incredibly strong. This thing is mine. As for the intruders, the elders of Swords Gate and the headmaster of Swords Gate didn't pay much attention to them as they focused on dealing with the intruders. A huge hand descended from the sky. It was as huge as a mountain, and its 5 fingers were as thick as stone pillars. The headmaster and elders of Swords Sect tried their best, but they still couldn't withstand the power of the finger. They were all sent flying away, and they didn't dare to face it anymore. The one who attacked was naturally Lin Fei. He clawed through the air and sent the experts of Swords Sect flying away, suppressing the skill. I heard from Emohua that the first thing in the Yuan Shen secret realm is the skill itself. As long as the consciousness of the skill is wiped away, it will become a pure skill. The later generations only need to refine it to master the skill. Lin Fei held the skill in his hand, and he silently recalled Mo Wuhua's words. This skill should be the strongest. The person formed by the skill struggled and attacked in Lin Fei's palm, but it couldn't withstand the thick skin of Lin Fei's palm. It couldn't even break through the outermost layer of defense. Seal. Lin Fei used a method to seal the skill domineeringly, condensing it into a small ball-like state. After ascertaining that there would be no problems, Lin Fei kept the mystic art ball and continued to search for a second mystic art. This time, all the mystic arts in the lower Yuan Shin secret realm were activated. The mystic arts came in all directions, some strong and some weak. Lin Fei searched along the way, and he barely found two more skills. One was a fist art, and the other was a leg art. They were quite powerful. Open! The Yuan Shin secret realm was completely destroyed by Lin Fei's punch. Once the secret realm disappeared, he returned to the secret chamber. A corpse lay in the cold chamber. It was a corpse, just like the skeleton from before. Could this be a universe-class corpse? Lin Fei was about to take a look, but the corpse automatically collapsed, leaving behind only a skeleton. In the end, the skeleton also disappeared. It really disappeared completely. It can't be right. This is messing with me. Lin Fei was really looking forward to the corpse of a universe-class expert. In a level 7 dangerous space, Lin Fei was even more confident in his judgment. If he wanted to find something good, he had to explore the higher-level dangerous spaces. Just going to those lower-level dangerous spaces was purely a matter of luck. There definitely wouldn't be anything good. He consecutively went through more than 10 level 7 spaces, and he met people along the way, but he was directly chased out by Lin Fei. He collected more than 20 skills, and all of them were quite powerful. So far, he hadn't found anything good. Lin Fei wasn't in a hurry. He still had a lot of time in the sacred region. Level 8 dangerous space. Lin Fei changed his target again. I hope this can give me some excitement, or even something good. Chapter 3306. As soon as the dozens of attacks locked onto Lin Fei, they formed a huge formation with a shadow sitting cross-legged in the middle of the formation. The shadow's face could not be seen clearly as it slammed its palm toward Lin Fei. The attack method was very unconventional and could really catch people off guard. The shadow's palm slammed down, and the void behind Lin Fei collapsed on the spot. A powerful force, like a millstone, strangled Lin Fei's body. What a powerful attack! With just one palm, Lin Fei could feel the power of that move. There was a slight fluctuation in the blood essence in his body. Although it was not very obvious, Lin Fei still noticed it. That was all there was to the palm. If it were someone else, they might have been able to stop it. However, for Lin Fei, that palm attack only surprised him. The shadow on the formation dissipated and the scene returned to normal. No one could tell that there was a formation attack in that place. It really caught people off guard. To be able to set up such a big killer move, even a peak ultimate god would die. I wonder which force is in there. There must be something good inside. It was to keep people out. Lin Fei was suddenly interested when he thought it was a space that no one could enter. A formation attack won't be able to stop me. Lin Fei laughed loudly as he punched the space. The attacks of the formation outside the space had only just appeared when Lin Fei's powerful attacks forcibly destroyed them. Lin Fei didn't really care about the attack of an uncontrolled formation. He plunged into the level 8 danger zone head-on. The level 8 dangerous space is not formed by the Yuan Shin secret realm. As soon as Lin Fei entered the space, he was faced with a mountain of flesh that occupied a huge secret chamber, leaving very little empty space. He thought it was a place for dead people, but it seemed that it was not the case. There were people who survived. Old thing, if you don't want to turn into ashes, hand over your treasures, and I can spare your life. On that mountain of flesh, there was something like a demon revealing mirror that tightly restrained the mountain of flesh below. Insignificant ant, if this old man wasn't being suppressed, I would have blown you to death with a single breath. Beneath the mountain of flesh was an old man who was cursing loudly. You want this old man to hand over the item? Don't even think about it. Kill this old man if you can. It seemed like the old man was being suppressed, but for some reason, Lin Fei saw a disapproving look in the old man's eyes. That's right. The old man must be determined to defeat them. Even if he has a treasure to suppress them, he must be able to use it continuously. That old man is planning to suppress them with silence. Lin Fei saw it. The person activating the treasure might not be able to activate it for long. Once they were unable to suppress it, these people would definitely not have a good ending. Country bumpkin, you actually managed to pass through the formation. As soon as Lin Fei appeared, the people besieging the old man noticed him. Their faces flickered, and when they saw Lin Fei's appearance, their expressions flickered. The people besieging the old man were none other than the Li clan from the Star River Prefecture. They were a group of arrogant fellows who treated everyone like country bumpkins. Your formation is too trashy. I didn't come in. Looks like the items in your hands aren't that great after all. Lin Fei narrowed his eyes. Now that he knew who the other party was, he might start killing them. When he was outside, he had rejected the invitation, and the other party had the intention to kill him. It could only be said that they were unlucky to meet him here. Brother Lin were really fated. The person activating the mirror treasure was Li Yunhao. He was a little shocked when he found out that Jian Wushuang had passed through the formation. Others might not know. But Li Yunhao knew that the formation could kill a peak ultimate god below the 5-star level. Suddenly, it could kill a peak ultimate god at the 7-star level. Such a formation diagram could be set up without anyone noticing. Who knew how many people had suffered greatly from it, their heads separated from their bodies, and they died with remaining grievances. Li Yunhao was quite surprised that Lin Fei was able to pass through. This martial ultimate god strength was really quite good. Actually, I didn't want to meet you. Lin Fei shook his head. Why? Li Yunhao smiled. Do you really want to know? Lin Fei smiled. I'm quite interested. Li Yunhao said, in my opinion, it's fate that we met here. I can give you a chance to join our Li clan and become a high official. In the future, you'll definitely have a meteoric rise and set foot on a higher realm. You rejected me last time. I think you've thought it through. At such a time and place, Lin Fei's intrusion was a great help to Li Yunhao, especially since he was a martial ultimate god. Forget about becoming a high official. Lin Fei shook his head, because when I saw you, I knew you wanted to kill me. Now you're trying to trick me. Do you think I'm that stupid? The old man who was being suppressed saw a person barging in. His pair of turbid eyes seemed to be looking at something incredible. Kid, don't believe this guy's words. As long as you help this old man get rid of them, this old man can give you great wealth, a reputation that shakes the world. I can let you become a real person above others. Conquering the world is not a problem. Li Yunhao really didn't know how the other party guessed it. Brother Lin, you must be joking. You're a divinity of the martial Tao, and you've just passed the attack of the array diagram. Your future potential is limitless. Why would I kill you? There must be a misunderstanding. Li Yunhao explained. No need to explain. Lin Fei said in a serious tone. So, if we meet, it's not a good thing because you'll be killed by me. Li Yunhao's face darkened. You're just a country bumpkin. You dare say you'll kill us? You're overestimating yourself. Let me. Boom! As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Fei appeared in front of the nearest ultimate god and punched him, instantly plundering a huge amount of life energy. The plunder skill was also activated. Nice. Lin Fei killed a bi-star level ultimate god with one punch, shocking the Li family's elders and experts. What do you think? Who can block this punch of mine? Lin Fei disappeared again and punched again, killing another ultimate god expert. Lin Fei used all his strength to prevent the news from leaking out. Bang, bang, bang. Country bumpkin. Humph. You're the country bumpkin. Lin Fei punched again, killing an ultimate god. The old man below was relieved, his eyes fixed on Lin Fei, his eyes shining. Good kill. Such a strong physical body, it's too tempting. Get out of the formation. Trap that kid. Li Yunhao was also angry, but he was even more shocked. His physical body was so strong that he could kill an ultimate God expert with ease. Set up the formation, there's no chance. How could Lin Fei give them the chance to set up the formation? The formation outside was enough. If it was any stronger, his physical body might be injured. He would not give them such a chance. Die.